Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. The two invincible talents at the beginning were called trash. Chapter 61. Awakened Ones. After 2 hours of bloody fighting, the ghosts have been basically cleared away, and there are still some scattered ghosts left that no longer pose a threat. A high-pitched roar came from the outskirts of the city. Mo. The sound is very penetrating, and some people with low physical fitness begin to feel dizzy. Then, the ground began to tremble regularly. Boom, boom, boom. A huge figure came into everyone's sight. Niugui, the big boss of the third day, revealed its true appearance. It was about 35 meters tall, taller than most buildings in the city. Its skin was bronze, and it had a pair of sharp horns, the tips of which were as sharp as knives and shone with a cold light. Most areas of its body are covered by a thick layer of scales. The scales sparkle with a metallic luster. The muscles all over the body are bulging, and each muscle contains infinite power. Niugui's forelimbs held two ancient bronze giant axes. The blades of the giant axes were stained with dark red blood. It was visually estimated that each giant axe weighed at least several thousand kilograms. Anyone hit by a giant axe will definitely die on the spot. Even if the person is hit by the giant axe, they will suffer broken bones and muscles. Although everyone had seen pictures of Niugui in class before, but now that they saw the real Niugui, a thought came to everyone's mind. Can we really defeat this monster? The abyss-like pupils of the ox ghost showed a hint of contempt, and it raised its head to the sky and let out a huge roar. Mo. Killing City, the most difficult boss battle of the third night, begins. Go ahead, kill it, spend tonight, and you will have at least 100 potential points. Fight it, it will die, or we will die. Students who have awakened their spiritual and restorative talents are using various methods to buff their teammates. There are those who sing, those who recite poetry, and those who impromptu rap, to name a few. Zhonglan can understand all of these. However, there is a striptease dancer over there. What is going on? Can he have such a good time on the battlefield? After watching for 5 minutes, the three boys, Zhonglan, Ren Peng, and Zheng Jing, couldn't help but look at Zhang Xinghe, a tall, rough man who had awakened the restoration system. Haha, look at the recovery girls on other teams, this one on our team. Hey, people will die when comparing with others, and goods will be thrown away when comparing goods. Zhang Xinghe suddenly trembled, his face turned pale, and he covered his crotch. Brother Zhonglan, my talent is the power of rejuvenation, which can help everyone slowly recover their physical and mental strength, but I really can't do a striptease, so please let me go. Zhonglan's face stiffened. We just wanted to express our dissatisfaction with your appearance and figure. I really didn't mean to ask you to do a striptease, you're overthinking it. Besides, what kind of dance do you, a grown man, dance to? If you want to dance, it must be danced by a cute girl like Tang Yu. I can barely accept it. Thinking of this, Zhonglan couldn't help but use her clairvoyance eyes to scan the crotch under Tang Yu's Lolita clothes. Wow, it was still lace. After long-term and unremitting training, Zhonglan has perfected her clairvoyance to the extreme. If she wants to see 1 millimeter of the skin, she will never see the skin. I have truly achieved the freedom of movement and performed it thoroughly. What does it mean? As long as you work hard enough, an iron pestle can be ground into a needle. Tang Yu said quietly. Why, I feel a chill in my little nae. Is there any of you who has bad thoughts about me? Zhonglan was stunned. Ah, does this girl Tang Yu have such sensitive feelings? As he spoke, the battle situation had escalated dramatically. Although Niugui is rough-skinned and thick-bodied, he only has strong strength and physical attributes. It was besieged by tens of thousands of awakened beings. Fireballs, lightning, and ice arrows kept shooting at it. Although it was protected by scales, the hits made it howl in pain. There are also enhanced awakeners, holding the black shield provided in the lounge, which can withstand its giant axe blow head-on. I don't know what kind of material the black shield is made of, but it can survive a single blow from a giant axe without breaking. Although after one blow, the awakened person will fly out and completely lose his combat effectiveness. But unfortunately, there are many awakened people. The third-level awakened people of the enhanced system are rough-skinned and thick-skinned. There are not even 1,000 but 800. If one person blocks it, the Niugui's lethality will be greatly reduced. Zhang Lan saw that the situation was under control, so he was happy to relax. He and his teammates ate snacks provided in the lounge while commenting on the battle situation. Well, this Ah-san's fire breathing is quite handsome. Before he finished speaking, Ah-san was split in half by Niu Gui's axe, and Zhang Lan's face froze. You see, that American girl's mental power is also very strong. She can restrain a cow ghost for a second. As soon as Zhang Lan finished boasting, the American girl was passed by the axe, and she flew out sideways. She saw that she would not survive. Zhang Lan suddenly felt that he was losing face. Ahem, accident, definitely an accident. Look at that classmate. His speed and agility are at least 300 points. He can be called the freshman Flash. You will never be able to hit him. As a result, the next second, the masked man wearing a red combat uniform with a lightning symbol on his chest slipped directly into Niu Gui's crotch, where he was trampled into a pulp by Niu Gui's giant hooves. Zhang Lan shook his head, looking around the venue as if he still had something to say, wanting to continue commenting. Ning Tong quickly covered his mouth. You should take a break. Have you ever opened your mouth? Whoever you say will die. Zhang Lan became angry from shame. It's intentional, it's definitely intentional. Grandma, don't give me face. Ning Tong, let's go get it. In fact, Zhang Lan is not that kind-hearted. What does it have to do with whether these people die or not? Mainly, there are still 2 days to come, so I guess I have to go through 100 Ghost Nightwalk a few times before the boss appears. Even if the weak students in front of them could fight to the death, they would definitely suffer heavy casualties. The number of ghosts will not decrease in the next 2 days. When all the awakened ones exit, will Zhang Lan be required to kill the ghosts in the entire city by himself? Zhang Lan observed for a while and probably figured out Niu Gui's strength. If he didn't take action, the points would go to someone else in 10 minutes. Zhang Lan was thinking of clearing the dungeon this time, not for fake things like fame or points. Instead, when Lao Ning introduced Spirit Realm number 3, Zhang Lan was keenly aware of the special nature of Spirit Realm number 3. No one has been able to clear Spiritual Realm number 3 before. If you quit midway, you can only get 1/5 of the reward, and the upper limit of the reward is 200 points. If someone can get through the number 3 spiritual realm and get potential points without discount, will he get 1000 points? 200 points is only the upper limit of rewards on the 4th day. If it reaches the 5th day, will there be at least 300 points? If you calculate it this way, the 5th day will be a reward of 1500 potential points. Zhang Lan didn't take 300 potential points seriously, but 1500 points was still worth his effort. According to his current rate of acquiring more than 300 attribute points per month, it would take a full 5 months to obtain 1500 points. The sooner he becomes invincible in the world, the sooner he can get rid of the title of pretty boy and soft-boiled man in Sanjiang City. It can even upgrade the talent of Saitama Sensei and Superman Sensei from D level to S level, which is the strongest and is still tied for first place. When the time comes, Zhang Lan will beat anyone who dares to disobey until everyone is convinced. Zhang Lan and Ning Tong walked over. Ning Tong was a little nervous and asked Zhang Lan, "How am I going to cooperate with you later? After all, there are so many people watching, so I have to act more realistically." Zhang Lan thought for a while. You just pretend to be working hard, like giving birth to a baby. Ning Tong suddenly turned red with embarrassment and punched him. You're going to die, how do I know what it feels like to have a baby? Zhang Lan changed his explanation. Then act like you're fool, hey. Ning Tong bit her lip and pinched the soft flesh of his waist. If you keep talking nonsense, I will. Ning Tong made a scissor hands gesture. After teasing Ning Tong, Zhang Lan felt refreshed. He jumped over 50 meters high and easily stood between the giant horns of the Niu Gui. He waved friendly to the students below. Classmates, I'm here to help you. Everyone below looked at Zhang Lan's handsome face and sent out cordial greetings. Get out of here, the boss is going to die soon, come and grab the points. You are not needed, you are already ranked first in points. Leave some points for us. $$. Niu Gui felt that someone dared to stand on top of it. In anger, Niu Gui struck Zhang Lan with a huge bronze axe. Zhong Lan easily dodged and jumped to the roof of the building next to him. As a result, Niu Gui couldn't stop himself in time and struck the huge bull's head with an axe, splitting his big head into two pieces in an instant. Then, Niu Gui's huge body fell to the ground with a bang, and purple-black blood and brains flowed out from the split head. The huge body struggled a few times, and there was no movement at all. The scene was silent. Everyone's expressions were dull. Everyone fought desperately for a long time, but Zhong Lan jumped on top of it and it committed suicide. So is Niu Gui's IQ level so low? Zhong Lan also expressed that he was very speechless. Originally, he wanted to jump on top of the cow ghost, pull out its two sharp horns, and then punch it to death. After leaving the spiritual realm like this, if the points are abnormal and reporters come to visit, there will be an excuse. He discovered the weakness of the cow ghost by accident and was able to eliminate it. Unexpectedly, this guy's intelligence was so poor that he actually committed suicide. I don't know which team the points will be awarded to in this situation. With the death of the ox ghost, the third day of the 100 Ghost Night Walk ends, and a portal appears next to everyone. Many people were indignant and glared at Zhong Lan before stepping into their team's portal. There was no way, mainly because they couldn't beat the combination of Zhong Lan and Ning Tong, otherwise, everyone would be determined to kill Zhong Lan every minute. Zhong Lan jumped off the roof and looked at Niu Gui's well-developed muscles. He hadn't replenished the beast's spiritual meat for 2 days, and he felt hungry all over his body. Zhong Lan thought about it. If Niu Gui had a cow in his name, it should be considered a cow. I wonder if its meat can be eaten. Zhong Lan thought about it carefully. Teacher Saitama seemed to have eaten a lot of weird people, including cabbage weird, kelp weird, mushroom weird, crab weird and so on. Anyway, the weirdos who insulted his bald head became his food. As he inherited Saitama's teacher's physique, eating a ghost shouldn't be a big problem. Just as he was told, Zhong Lan tore off a huge leg of beef, lit a bonfire on the battlefield and started grilling the leg over charcoal. Humming a tune in his mouth. Grilled chicken wings, my favorite. After a short while, the latest list for the third day was refreshed on the light screen. At the end of the third day, the killing points ranking is Room 04060, 1,034,189 points, Room 11,783, 5,224 points, Room 00761, 4,287 points, Room 03487, 3,875 points. The score for killing the Niugi reached 1 million points, and was directly added to Zhong Lan and his team. The chat area exploded instantly. This guy got his head snatched at the critical moment. In the game, this kind of person is called a dog with a human head. You are really lucky. You didn't put in any effort, but you got 1 million in the end. Why is he so lucky? By accident, Niu Gui actually committed suicide. I've tolerated him for a long time. In fact, he only has this kind of strength because of the girl's boost. He himself is AD level talent waste. It seems he didn't go back. He was left alone outside. What a great opportunity. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. Do you want to kill him? Take me one. And I. After a while, someone on the light screen said in horror. Don't mess with that bald man in yellow, he's simply not human. What's wrong? Didn't you go him? Didn't his female companion go back to the lounge? Can't you even beat him alone? No, you can never imagine. What did we see? What did you see? If you keep talking like squeezing out toothpaste, I'll kill you first. That bald man actually roasted and ate the cow ghost. When I went there, he had already finished chewing the two thighs of the cow ghost and was roasting the cow ghost's ribs. Is he a human? He even dares to eat ghosts. Are you so cruel? Can cows and ghosts also eat it? Isn't he afraid that he will become a ghost? No way, such a big cow ghost, he ate everyone. Is his stomach a bottomless pit? Haha, he actually has a nickname, So-and-so City Rice Bucket. Forget it, you can't afford to offend such a ruthless person. Everyone was angry and vented for a while, and then it passed. Zhong Lan's behavior of grilling ghosts completely shocked this group of students. After all, they have seen many people who can kill ghosts. Zhong Lan is still the first person who dares to roast ghosts since the spirit realm. After eating a whole cow ghost, Zhonglan patted his belly with satisfaction. He was completely full, and his potential points increased by 2 points. The quality of the cow ghost's meat was very high, no less than the spirit meat of ferocious beasts. If you can't get the spirit meat of ferocious beasts in the future, it would be a good choice to find a spiritual realm and kill the powerful creatures inside to eat the meat. After eating the beef ghost meat, coupled with the 3 days of exercise and sunbathing, Zhonglan's current attributes are as follows. Constitution, 546. Spirit, 475. Strength, 546. Agility, 546. Potential points, 240. Talent 1. Saitama's talent. Talent 2. Superhuman talent. Talent skill, clairvoyance. Zhonglan nodded with satisfaction. With this attribute, it should be easy to kill the big boss Wao Lao. Zhonglan returned to the lounge. When everyone saw him coming back, except Ning Tong, they all raised their heads and looked at him with horror on their faces. Zhonglan suddenly had the feeling that he was like a chicken farm manager with a group of trembling weak chickens in front of him. Ren Peng swallowed, his Adam's apple slid up and down, his eyes were full of fear, and he said weakly. Brother Lan, they said you roasted the cow ghost and ate it. Is that true? Zhonglan took out a small wooden stick and picked his teeth. Well, what's the matter? Wouldn't it be a waste to kill such a big cow and not eat it? Ren Peng's eyes flickered. Was that a cow? That's obviously a cow ghost. Okay. Have you ever seen a cow that's more than 30 meters tall, can walk upright, and can hold 2 tomahawks? Tang Yu's eyes lit up and she asked Zhonglan expectantly. What does it taste like, Brother Lan, is there any left? Zhonglan smacked his mouth a few times. Niu Gui, what other flavor could there be? It tastes like beef, crunchy and crispy, with a huge protein content. In the end, there is only a bullwhip left. Do you want to eat it? Tang Yu's eyes shone brightly and he nodded obediently. Is it a bullwhip? It's great. It's a big repair. There are hundreds of them out there. A bullwhip that big should be worth at least hundreds of thousands. Zhonglan had a cold sweat on her face, such a tough girl. The reason why he can eat beef and ghost meat is because of the strong physique of teacher Saitama and Dakao, so that he will not mutate. After Tang Yu finishes eating, she will most likely turn into a lace lowly ghost, and will be completely left in the number 3 spiritual realm from now on. Although the lace lowly ghost sounds inexplicably exciting, Zhonglan quickly persuaded Tang Yu to stop. Forget it, I didn't pay attention just now and it was all burnt. I'll save a bite for you next time I have something delicious. Tang Yu looked unwilling. Oh, I really want to try the beef whip sashimi taste. Ren Peng, Zhang Xinghe, and Liang Yu quickly covered their lower bodies and huddled in the corner. They felt that except for the 3 of them, everyone else in the room was a fool. Messages popped up on the light screen. They were the surviving classmates discussing tomorrow's 4th battle. Many people have begun to think about quitting. Today's powerful Niugi made them realize that tomorrow's battle will definitely be more cruel. The ultimate boss on the 4th day, the Great Tengu, is equivalent to a 5th level awakener, and is at least 5 times more powerful than Ashiki. The Great Tengu has 2 wings on its back, making it equivalent to a 5th level enhanced type awakener with the ability to fly, making it even more difficult to deal with. Not to mention, the Daitengu also possesses an indestructible giant sword, and he especially likes owl-headed attacks. Although the armor can withstand a fatal attack, if the owl is hit on the head by a sword, the armor can do nothing. How should freshmen and sophomores deal with such a powerful ghost? There was a wail in the light screen. My teacher, Elson, is already a 5th level strong man. When he was in class, he remembered the number 3 spiritual realm Great Tengu, and he looked frightened. He advised us that even a 5th level strong man would not be able to face the Great Tengu. There is no guarantee of survival. Yes, my teacher also suspects that the United Nations Spiritual Realm Organization made a mistake in organizing the number 3 spiritual realm. In fact, if based on the difficulty of the 5th day, the number 3 spiritual realm should be at least ranked after the number 15 spiritual realm. My dad is a staff member of the United Nations Spiritual Realm Organization. I asked him about this matter. It is mainly about the later spiritual realms. The difficulty of obtaining potential points has been greatly increased. There are only spiritual realms 1 to 3, which are relatively safe and controllable and allow everyone to gain potential points. If the number 3 spiritual realm is really ranked according to the difficulty of clearance, it would have to be at least the number 15 spiritual realm. Students, if you want to stay, you will deduct 1, if you want to leave, you will deduct 1. Quote. Upstairs, what the hell are you doing? I'll withdraw first. I can't defeat you anyway. Only if you have a destiny, you have a future. See you all again. We are withdrawing too. That bald man, you'd better not let me meet you again. That bald man, you'd better be careful next time in the spiritual realm. That bald man in yellow clothes, I remember your name. Just wait for me. Zhonglan looked puzzled. Just leave. Why are you mocking me? Don't you want to mess around next time in the spiritual realm? Ning Tong turned her gaze to Zhonglan with the intention of asking. Zhonglan asked Ning Tong in a low voice. Do you want to stay? Ning Tong's eyes were firm without any hesitation. If you stay, I'll stay. Zhonglan nodded. With the tacit understanding between him and Ning Tong that had been cultivated for a long time, the two of them could understand each other with just one look without saying anything. Although the number 3 spiritual realm is full of crises, Zhonglan also has the confidence to lead Ning Tong to the end. In particular, Ning Tong awakened the life-saving skill of secret space due to a strange combination of circumstances. If Ning Tong only created a small space to hide himself, he could last at least 10 hours. If not, he could still run away with Ning Tong. With more than 500 agility points and more than 200 potential points to spare, he can run to death even if he runs. Although his and Ning Tong's lives were not in danger, if several other students in the team stayed, casualties were likely to occur. Zhonglan called everyone together, looking serious. Tomorrow, Ning Tong and I have decided to hold on for one more night. If you don't want to stay, you can leave the spiritual realm tonight. The 3rd spiritual realm allows team members to return alone without affecting other teammates to continue fighting. There is really no need for Renpeng and Zhang Xinghe to stay. Anyway, after discounting the potential points on the 3rd and 4th days, the difference is only 50 points. If you can't pass the level, there is really no need to risk so much for 50 potential points. Risks of Room 04060 has been ranked first in the standings. When Renpeng and the others return, they will have at least 150 potential points, which is already more than their previous 2 spiritual realms combined. Several people discussed it and finally apologized. Brother Lan, Sister Tong, let's go back first. Our strength is still too weak after all. Even if we stay, we will only be a drag on you. Ning Tong comforted them. Classmates of the same class, don't be so polite. Go back and help us report to the principal that you are safe. You will grow up as soon as possible. There will be more spiritual realms in the future waiting for us to conquer together. The 4 people nodded, waved their hands, and said goodbye to Zhonglan Ning Tong. They silently chanted, "Return," in their hearts, and their figures slowly disappeared into the room. After a while, only Zhonglan and Ning Tong were left in the room. Zhonglan suddenly became excited. Ning Tong and I were alone in a private room. Wouldn't that be equivalent to taking Ning Tong to a room? How could you miss such a good opportunity? Zhonglan suddenly smiled brightly and asked Ning Tong. How about we do something? Ning Tong's eyes widened, she glanced at Zhonglan, then lowered her head and made a sound like a mosquito. Zhonglan took out a stack of poker cards from nowhere and smiled evilly. Let's play poker. The loser will be punished by the winner. Ning Tong was even more surprised, her beautiful eyes widened, thinking to herself. Wah, what, are you having such a good time when you come up? How can I, a big girl, accept this? She thought that tomorrow would be the decisive battle with the Daitengu, and that maybe life and death would separate the two of them, so she finally bit her lip and nodded. Forget it, just do as he wishes. Half an hour later, Ning Tong's face was covered with white strips of paper, with little tortoises drawn on them. Zhonglan hated that iron could not make steel. Hey, your poker skills are too poor. It's boring, I won't play anymore. An icy chill filled Ning Tong's body. Zhonglan, is this the punishment you call? Zhonglan looked puzzled. What else? Ning Tong lowered his head and walked to his room. Zhonglan called her from behind and said softly. Ning Tong, you have always been with me. I am really grateful to have you by my side. Let us climb to the top together in the future. Ning Tong turned her back to him, nodded, and walked back to her room, her face as red as a ripe apple in autumn. She leaned against the wall, raised the corners of her lips slightly on her pretty face, and spoke softly. Zhong Lan, thank you for always staying with me. On the fourth day, night fell, and as the countdown ended, the remaining hundreds of teams came to the square. The teams that dared to stay until the fourth battle are all composed of S-class and A-class awakened ones. History has also proved that if you do not have the courage to face 4 battles in the third spiritual realm, your future achievements will stop here. There are never exceptions. Therefore, the fourth battle in the number 3 spiritual realm has another name, the proof of the strong. Students who have passed 4 battles will be snapped up by major organizations after graduation. So despite the higher risks, many teams still choose to stay, which is also the threshold that must be crossed to become the strongest. Zhong Lan glanced around and found that Yan Qian was also there. He looked away without looking much. However, Yan Qian's eyes flickered, and there was something else in her eyes that she couldn't explain. When Zhong Lan graduated from high school that year, she still vividly remembers the look of Zhong Lan lying on the ground in a state of embarrassment after finishing her workout, her clothes completely soaked with sweat. And now Zhong Lan has become completely bald, wearing a yellow uniform, and after hard training, his figure is even better. Tonight, he and his female companion, Ning Tong, known as the goddess, were dressed in distinctive costumes, one in yellow and the other in white, like a couple of gods. Just 2 people dared to face millions of ghosts. Did the man she gave up on in the past reach this point step by step? Although there are rumors outside, Zhong Lan only has the current combat power due to the increase in Ning Tong's natural ability. But as a classmate in high school for 3 years, Yan Qian knew very well that Zhong Lan was definitely not the pretty, soft-boiled boy that outsiders said he was. There must be something hidden in this matter. She didn't have time to think about it. As the vortex appeared in the air, ghosts and ghosts swarmed out of it. Killing City, the fourth battle begins. The ghosts on the fourth night were even more powerful, and many new ghosts appeared that had not been seen before. Reggae, ghost ghost, ghost ghost. Some of the ghosts began to use weapons and had the ability to perform elemental attacks. And most of them have very high intelligence and begin to speak human words. Death, there will be no more fear. Give up resistance, join us, and you can have endless life from now on. Let us eat you, human flesh is really delicious. Fortunately, the remaining students all had a few abilities. Steel skin, plant parasitism, corpse explosion, high-speed movement, kinetic energy absorption, and various super abilities dazzled Zhong Lan. Everyone also stopped holding back and put out all their strength. The girls in the auxiliary department also tried their best to get black steel pipes and disco accompaniments from who knows where. On the battlefield, he showed off his figure and even started pole dancing. This wave is actually a triple buff of mental, physical, and visual effects. Many freshmen had never seen such a scene before. After receiving powerful blessings, their morale was greatly boosted, their energy and blood surged, and they roared and used their strongest attack. The human side actually had the upper hand for a while. The behavior of the support girl almost made Zhong Lan's eyes pop out of her head. She was so envious and jealous. Why is it that a big, rough man like Zhang Xinghe, who has awakened the recovery system, is on his team? But even without the buff blessing, he and Ning Tong didn't feel any pressure at all, and they were even a little bored. Not long after the fourth battle began, Zhong Lan used a serious punch and blasted thousands of blind ghosts into minced flesh. The ghosts in the fourth battle all had high IQs, and they were all shocked at the time. What kind of monster is this bald male human in yellow? With one easy punch, it felt like the earth was shattering and the world was ending. It's too scary, I can't afford to mess with it. It's better to find other soft persimmons to squeeze. They even tell each other. Over there is a bald man in yellow and a long-haired woman in white. Don't mess with them. What's wrong? It looks delicious. What a delicious fart. Your third uncle's grandpa and your great-grandmother's grandma were beaten into powder by that bald man's punch. Do you understand the powder? You're dead. Thank you Grandpa Third Tezu for your teachings, I'll go find another human being. 1 spreads it to 10, and 10 spreads it to 100, just like that, soon all the ghosts know about it. Don't mess with the bald man in yellow and the long-haired girl in white. As a result, Zhonglan and Ningtong were dumbfounded, watching the ghosts crawling and flying past them. Not a single ghost dared to look at them, as if they didn't exist. Zhonglan tried to stand in front of a ghost, but the ghost screamed and ran away without hesitation. Forehead. Zhonglan was speechless. Brother, you are ghosts. Can you show some professionalism? What you did made me very embarrassed and made Ningtong and I feel like we were on vacation. He returned to Ningtong and said angrily, there is not a single ghost in this class who can beat me. I still want to earn some points and consolidate our number 1 position. Ningtong pursed her lips and comforted with a snicker. Okay, you are already very strong, it's time to give others a chance. Zhonglan was unwilling to help these students who were mocking him. In the end, he and Ningtong could only take out snacks and eat while cheering for the human side. That fat boy, you should attack Reggae with water. Water can conduct electricity and can restrain Reggae's spells. The fat boy heard Zhonglan's shout, nodded, and threw a water arrow at Reggae. The next second, the fat boy was struck by the powerful thunder and lightning transmitted from Reggae's body. His hair stood up, his face was black, and he fell to the ground directly with no regrets. Fu. The young man uttered 2 letters in his mouth and fainted completely. Zhonglan sighed. You see, before he left, he had to express his admiration for me. I am convinced. Ningtong hesitated. Could it be that he wants to say, that brother from Asan Kingdom, oh, you don't understand Chinese. A Sangwo's classmate was strangled by the hanging man's neck in the next second, and ascended to the sky with his tongue hanging out. That short-legged Lolita, do you understand Chinese? You are from Sakura country, so forget it. The short-legged Lolita from Sakura country was crossed out by Zhonglan, and her soul was instantly hooked by the soul-destroying ghost. She almost returned to her hometown as a result of kicking her short legs. Zhonglan's mouth was like a bright light. Any classmates he targeted were ruthlessly attacked by ghosts and monsters, and they were surrounded by dangers. Ningtong couldn't stand it anymore and covered his mouth with her soft little hands. Just watch the show quietly and say less. Whoever you really say with your mouth will die. As the battle progresses, human physical and mental strength declines sharply, and the number of ghosts increases. The human side is gradually falling into crisis. Seeing that the situation is not good, those recovery-type girls can only grit their teeth with tears in their eyes and start to increase their attacks. Turn on Holy Light mode. The protective clothing is completely reduced into a ring, some is put on the neck, and some is put on the thigh. More tempting. Ah, my eyes, what do I see? Zhonglan was stunned and began to doubt his life. Foreign girls were really open-minded. No wonder so many people are trying their best to study abroad. Compared with now, the naked situation when entering the spiritual realm is nothing. The restorative girls worked really hard to survive the 4th battle in the 3rd spiritual realm. The Holy Light mode is still dominant, the girls dance more crazily and the music is more exciting. The students also roared and their attack power increased by at least 50%. Ningtong was also stunned. These shameless women really did not care about anything just to survive. She covered Zhonglan's eyes bitterly. Don't look. Zhonglan quickly opened Ningtong's little hand. Ah, don't make trouble. Be careful, there will be ghosts and monsters sneak up on us. If you are careless, you will lose Jingzhou. Although Ningtong was unwilling to give in, she had no choice but to pout her pretty lips and feel cruel in her heart. How about pole dancing? I can learn it too. The awakened ones were greatly stimulated and stimulated the last bit of potential in their bodies, and the battle situation escalated again. Both sides fought fiercely regardless of injuries. Finally, after paying a heavy price, the awakened ones finally defeated all the ghosts. As the number of awakened people decreases, the number of ghosts also decreases, and there is only one wave, so that everyone can fight to kill all the ghosts. The students were all slumped on the ground imagelessly, some had difficulty even standing up, and most of them had lost the ability to fight anymore. Even the girls in the recovery department were completely exhausted. They were holding on to the steel pipe and breathing heavily. At this moment, a huge sound of flapping wings sounded in the air. Coo, coo, coo. A huge humanoid creature flew slowly from a distance, carrying a huge, bright sword on its back. Slowly, it came to the sky above the city, flapped its huge wings, and stood in the air. Big Tengu, killing city, 4 battles, big boss. Its body is not as big as the Niugi, but its huge wings are spread out and are dozens of meters long. It was wearing a coarse cloth ninja suit, and its head was covered with a black mask. Under the mask, its 2 scarlet eyes emitted a frightening light in the dark night sky. The Otengu drew out his huge sword and stared coldly at the humans below like a god of death. A huge voice sounded in everyone's mind. Insignificant humans, are you ready to face your death? It's over, it's over. All the surviving students couldn't help but have a look of despair flashing in their eyes. I didn't expect the great Tengu to arrive so quickly, and it seemed to be extremely intelligent, no less intelligent than humans. At this moment, the students only have one thought in their hearts. Is it possible, Masaka, that we will all die here? The great Tengu continued. Weakness is your original sin, die, insect. It flapped its wings and flew towards the sky. The students had read the guide in advance, and the big Tengu was about to fall from the sky and fly over the crowd at extremely fast speeds. If the agility of the awakened being attacked by it does not reach 300, there will be no time to dodge, and it will be split in 2 by the giant sword. As the great Tengu disappeared, even the flapping of its wings could not be heard at all, as if it had left the battlefield. But everyone knows that this is just a temporary illusion. The great Tengu does not make any sound when it dives, and it uses its wings to cover the huge sword. With its black appearance, it looks like a ghost in the dark night. By the time it was seen, it had already harvested a life and flew into the night sky again. Previously, in the number 3 spiritual realm, the great Tengu slowly harvested the lives and hearts of human beings like this round after round, until everyone's confidence completely collapsed and they were completely dead. In the 3rd spiritual realm, it is impossible for all students to have the ability to fly. The Daitengu is basically unsolvable for current freshmen and sophomores. Although everyone has seen pictures of the Daitengu from the teacher, the fear and pressure everyone felt when they actually faced the Daitengu was completely different from what they felt when the teacher explained it. Almost everyone was trembling all over. It was so scary. This ghost was born to kill. Zhong Lan yawned nonchalantly. He had no intention of taking action. The group of people in front of him mocked him every day. The bald guy, the pretty boy, and the D-class trash hugging Ning Tong's thigh. It would be nice if they were all dead. In this way, when he strikes with all his strength, he no longer has to worry and can use his full strength. Zhong Lan looked up at the sky. Although the great Tengu completely disappeared in the eyes of others, under his perspective, he could clearly spot the great Tengu as if he was wearing night vision goggles. In his eyes, the great Tengu turned into a skeleton with wings, hovering in midair, looking for the first target to attack. Soon, the great Tengu locked onto its target, wrapped its wings around its body, and quickly fell downwards. It was silent, without making a sound, and even the scarlet eyes completely disappeared, like a bat in the dark night. Zhong Lan had a weird look on his face. He really didn't know how to choose his opponent. Judging from its posture, it was aimed at him and Ning Tong. There are so many soft persimmons on the ground. If you don't eat them, do you have to find a diamond to chew on them and completely chip out your teeth? He also didn't want to think about it. Among all the students, he and Ning Tong were the only ones wearing eye-catching clothes. They were even more relaxed and calm, talking and laughing, and eating snacks, just like young lovers traveling in the countryside. Of course, it immediately attracted the attention of the great Tengu. The great Tengu thought to himself, at least you two should show some face to this big boss like me. You don't take any weapons, and your clothes are dazzlingly bright yellow. If I don't kill you first, it makes it seem like I'm afraid of you. Let's start with your bald head. When your bald head is separated from your body, your female companion's expression will be very exciting. Despair, helplessness, collapse, and wailing are my favorite feelings. It's close, this bald man in yellow really doesn't notice anything. Jia, you are dead, bald. Ninja killing technique, one sword style. Instant kill. The great Tengu pulled out a huge sword from under its wings, flashed in the air, and struck directly at Zhong Lan's head. Everyone's eyes went dark, and they suddenly saw a bright silver light, pulling out a bolt of lightning in the air, and its target was clearly Zhong Lan, the good-for-nothing bald man who had awakened his D-level talent. It's over, it's over. Originally, everyone still held a glimmer of hope in their hearts. Zhong Lan and Ning Tong had conserved their strength to the maximum extent possible during the 100 Ghosts night walk just now. If there is still a glimmer of hope for everyone present, then this key point lies with Zhong Lan and Ning Tong. But at this moment, the remaining glimmer of hope was about to be ruthlessly extinguished by the great Tengu's sword. Is there really no chance at all? Everyone couldn't help but feel a deep sense of despair. Zhong Lan didn't even turn his head. The moment the Daitengu Taito was about to touch his skin, he opened his mouth and bit it down. There was only a ding sound, and the huge, indestructible sword of the great Tengu was shattered inch by inch. It was bitten by Zhong Lan and turned into pieces, flying in the air. Time seemed to have stopped at this moment, and everyone present, including Ning Tong, was stunned. Ever since the great Tengu flew into the sky, it seemed to have disappeared from everyone's perception. They were not even aware of it until the second before it drew its sword. This also means that if the great Tengu chooses them and any one of them is targeted, the person chosen by it will only die. The current situation was beyond everyone's expectation. The huge sword of the Daitengu was actually bitten off by Zhong Lan. Even the Daitengu spread its wings and was completely stunned in midair. Zhong Lan smiled ferociously. It's not good for you to offend anyone. You have to provoke me. I didn't even plan to take action originally, but now you're forcing me, so don't blame me for being rude. If you attack me, if I don't kill you, you will really live up to the powerful talent I inherited from Saitama-sensei. Zhong Lan jumped up, and while the big Tengu was in a daze, he jumped on it, grabbed its two huge wings with his left and right hands, and shouted angrily. Open! A large amount of blood sprinkled from midair, and the two huge wings of the great Tengu were torn off by Zhong Lan. It screamed in pain and was slammed to the ground from midair by Zhong Lan. A loud bang sounded in the ears of everyone present, and a huge deep hole was made in the hard road. Zhong Lan jumped into the pit, and then the entire killing city seemed to be shaken by an earthquake. Boom, 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 ever heard. The ground kept shaking, accompanied by the pitiful roar of the great Tengu. Slowly, the roar became smaller and weaker, and finally everything became quiet. Zhong Lan jumped out of the ground gently, and the big Tengu in the deep pit had completely turned into a puddle of flesh. He clapped his hands, collected the two huge wings of the great Tengu, and randomly found an elemental girl. Excuse me, lend me a fire. The girl had a dull look on her face, facing the man who crushed the Otengu's tachi with her mouth and beat the Otengu to death with her bare hands. How could she dare to say no? She could only stand up reluctantly and began to twist her waist, dancing and singing at the same time. I am fire, 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 fire. I just love music, don't tell me to stop. Zhong Lan clenched his fists and his eyes twitched. I'm just borrowing a fire-roasted chicken wing. There's no need for it to be so grilled. The girl looked aggrieved. Yes, but I awakened the water element. If you insist on borrowing fire from me, I can only sing and dance rap for you. Oh, sorry, that was my mistake. Zhong Lan could only find another elemental student, set up a blazing bonfire, and began to grill the wings of the big Tengu. Everyone looked at the handsome face against the bonfire and fell into deep thought. Even if he knew that Zhong Lan borrowed Ning Tong's power. But Zhong Lan was able to kill the big Tengu so easily, which made everyone present feel chill in their hearts and kept looking at him and Ning Tong. How brave are we that we dare to mock a man who treats ghosts as food? D-level talent. Are you kidding? Just because it can eat ghost meat without mutating, this talent shouldn't be placed in D-level. The great Tengu can kill all of us. If he can kill the great Tengu, that means he can kill all of us. Ning Tong's talent is too powerful. No, I will report it to the school immediately when I get back. We must not let another 8th level awakened person appear in China. Back in the lounge, many students breathed a sigh of relief. They were really afraid that Zhong Lan wouldn't be full and would roast them too. After all, he had created a brilliant achievement yesterday, eating a cow ghost by himself. Everyone was chatting on the light screen. Today is too dangerous. Fortunately, they are here, so we can survive by chance. Yes, what is Ning Tong's talent? Can he strengthen a D-level waist to such an extent? I don't know. I don't think it's possible. He must have such a talent. I guess there is a possibility that it is a combination of talents. The combination of their talents creates an effect of 1 plus 1 greater than 100. The strength shown by the bald man just now should be at least a 5th level high level 1. More than that, no matter where his power comes from, he can crush the sword with one bite, which is at least level 6. What is his talent? My younger brother will also awaken next year. Let him also choose this talent. Haha, without the blessing of Ning Tong's powerful talent, your brother can only become a useless bald man. Today's points popped up on the light screen at the right time. As expected, Room 04060 ranked first, with a score of over 2 million. At the end of the 4th day, the killing points ranking is Room 04060, 2,154,165 points, Room 11,783, 9,224 points, Room 00761, 7,287 points, Room 03487, 6,875 points. Everyone was silent. They might have been dissatisfied with this result a few days ago. But after witnessing Zhang Lan's strength today, they did not dare to complain about this result. There was no other reason. The main reason was that he was afraid of being beaten to death by the combination of Zhang Lan and Ning Tong next time in the spiritual realm. After a while, someone asked everyone on the light screen, "Will you stay tomorrow? Are you kidding? No one has ever survived the 5th day. What are you doing here? Are you looking for death? Tell me, those 2 people from China, will they challenge the 5th day?" Ha ha ha, upstairs, stop being ridiculous. As long as you are a normal person with a sound mind, you will never choose to stay. Ha ha, that's right. Well, everyone, I'm destined to see you again. We are very honored to be able to fight side by side with you. Goodbye everyone, come and visit us in the United States when you have time. We are from Washington University. We are from Okamoto University. If you have time to come to Sakura country, we will definitely do our best to be a landlord. Students from Sakura country, I really yearn for your culture of female bodybuilding. Please let me experience it next time. My elder sister and my younger sister are both professional female body sporting entertainers. You are welcome to come and experience it. Upstairs, if you say that, I have to visit your house. They were chatting happily in the light screen, and everyone said goodbye reluctantly. After experiencing a life and death battle with ghosts and monsters, the remaining several hundred teams suddenly felt a sense of sympathy for each other. If nothing else happens, the strongest among this freshman class should be born among them. Of course, excluding the 2 powerful person from China, their level is simply not what a freshman can achieve. In other words, college students should not have this kind of strength. When they come to the spiritual realm, it's no different than taking a vacation. Zhang Lan's potential points increased a bit after eating the Tengu brand grilled wings. With the past 2 days of training, his attributes have already been reached. Physique, 548. Spirit, 475. Strength, 548. Agility, 548. Potential points, 245. Zhang Lan returned to the lounge and saw Ning Tong wiping his weapon and raised his head to look at him. What are you going to do tomorrow? Zhang Lan's eyes were firm and he said in a deep voice. Of course, kill the big boss, clear the spiritual realm, and get full potential points. What do you think? If you feel unsure, you can go back first. Having inherited the talents of Saitama and Superman, he would not allow himself to retreat without a fight. Invincibility not only comes from strength, but also from mentality. If he really did that kind of cowardly behavior, I'm afraid the 2 heroes' wills would also despise him. Ning Tong shook her head firmly. I won't leave. I will be wherever you are. Zhang Lan smiled knowingly and nodded. Don't worry, I'll take care of everything. If we really can't defeat you, I have other plans to ensure our safety. Since it was decided to face Walao head-on tomorrow, there was no need to retain the excess attribute points. According to predictions, the 7 forms of slides are likely to reach the 6th level. Zhang Lan must be careful with his current strength. Since he has abundant potential points, converting them all into his own combat power is the safest way. He evenly distributed all potential points among the 4 attributes. After the distribution, his panel was Physique, 591. Spirit, 591. Strength, 591. Agility, 591. Potential points, 0. As the 4 attributes all exceeded 590, Zhonglan suddenly felt that everything in front of him seemed to be covered with a layer of red. The next second, 2 red lines of sight shot out from his eyes. The attack power of the sight was so strong that it completely penetrated the solid wall of the lounge. As Zhonglan's sight shifted, the laser made 2 deep marks on the wall, almost injuring Ning Tong. Zhonglan quickly closed his eyes. In such a short moment, he unexpectedly awakened another innate skill, heat vision. Talent 1. Saitama's talent. Talent 2. Superhuman talent. Talent skill 1. Clairvoyance. Talent skill 2. Thermal vision. Ning Tong ignored the danger and quickly supported Zhonglan from the side, asking with concern. What's wrong? Why are your eyes suddenly red and emitting powerful light? Did you eat the wings of the great Tengu and damage your body? Zhonglan shook his head, stroked Ning Tong's little hand, and smiled. It's okay, I've awakened a new skill. The skill I suddenly awakened was very powerful and made me lose control for a while. Ning Tong suddenly opened her mouth in surprise. As she got to know Zhonglan better, she felt more and more that her father was making a fuss out of a molehill by trying to hide her talent through Zhonglan. If her talent is a precious S-level hidden talent, then what is Zhonglan's talent? It has super high growth attributes and various magical talents, such as clairvoyance and super induction. Now there is another skill that can shoot powerful rays from the eyes, which looks very powerful. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to rate this kind of talent as SSS level. Comparing people with each other has to be done to death, and comparing goods with others has to be thrown away. When comparing her talent with Zhonglan's, let's forget it. If possible, she could choose to go back to the moment of awakening, and she would choose the talent, I became bald and became stronger, without hesitation. Zhonglan took a deep breath. The sudden awakening of his heat vision gave him a little more confidence in facing Wall Ao tomorrow. Every time Superman's innate skills are awakened, it is after his attributes have been greatly improved. Last time, 4 attributes exceeded the 200 mark, and this time, 4 attributes exceeded the 500 mark. From this point of view, it is not impossible for him to fly like Superman in the future and possess all kinds of incredible abilities. With all-round development of the 4 attributes, he is on the right path. Moreover, Teacher Saitama's talent has been extremely limited in his development. Now, he can only look up to the 2 superheroes from a distance. He still has a long way to go before he can reach the peak of Saitama-sensei and Dakao. But first, he must be able to control his heat vision. Zhonglan could only close his eyes, otherwise as soon as he opened his eyes, 2 rays of light would automatically shoot out, and anyone standing opposite him would be completely penetrated. At Sanjiang Private University, Lao Ning was pacing anxiously outside the transmission circle. Logically, Zhonglan and Ning Tong should return today, but now, the transmission circle seems to be broken, and there is no movement. He grabbed Ren Peng and asked anxiously, "Didn't you say that they are very good, but why haven't they come back yet?" Ren Peng scratched his head and said helplessly, "It's indeed very good. Zhonglan is invincible under Ning Tong's growth. The 4 of us have almost been in the spirit realm lying down. Don't worry, Principal, they may come out after the 4th day to play in the spirit realm. It's okay, it'll be okay." It was okay that Ren Peng didn't speak. After he finished speaking, Lao Ning became even more anxious. What? A party after the 4th day? Playing what? A man and a woman alone, staying in a room with a bathtub and a bed, what else can they do? Lao Ning gritted his teeth and said, "Zhonglan, you better take safety precautions. Otherwise, I will go to your house and have a good talk with your parents." With the end of the 3rd battle and the return of a large number of classmates, the internet has already been abuzz over the performance of Zhonglan and Ning Tong. Some people say that Zhonglan and Ning Tong were just lucky. They got the head of the big boss with their luck. No, Niatu, they easily got 1 million points with their luck. Some people began to doubt Zhonglan's talent. How could a D-level talent awakener be able to digest ghost meat? It's not like no one has tried to eat ghost meat before, but in the end, without exception, they all turned into ghosts and stayed in the spiritual realm. Except for the awakened ones with the S-level talent, Gluttony, I have never heard of any other talent that can eat ghost meat. If Zhonglan's D-level talent can digest ghost meat without mutating it, then why does he need the S-level talent of gluttony? No matter how you look at it, Zhonglan's D talent is too strong. Is there something wrong with the talent rating? From the perspective of being able to eat ghost meat alone, the D-level talent, I became bald and became stronger, should not be classified as D-level. Lao Ning asked Ren Peng. Are all the classmates from the fourth battle back? Ren Peng took out his cell phone, confirmed it, nodded, and was about to speak. Suddenly, Tang Yu ran over in a hurry. Oh no, principal, something big has happened. Old Ning's expression froze. Could it be what I thought? Something happened to Zhonglan and Ning Tong. On his old face covered with vicissitudes of life, 2 lines of tears suddenly flowed down. Tang Yu said strangely, Principal, why are you crying? The big thing I'm talking about is that many people want to apply to transfer to our school. Ah, Lao Ning's expression suddenly changed, from great sadness to great joy. After Sanjiang City University received the capital injection from the Lingjing Management Bureau, Lao Ning suddenly became rich and powerful. He demolished all the surrounding houses and gave him generous compensation. The surrounding residents were so grateful to Lao Ning that they wished they could set up a memorial tablet for him. Sanjiang City University has expanded its campus to more than 3,000 acres and has a variety of luxurious facilities such as libraries, laboratories, auditoriums, cinemas, canteens for students 1, 2, and 3. The only problem is that there are too few students. There are less than 30 students on this huge campus. This is because Lao Ning has recently expanded enrollment. There is no distinction between education and distinction. As long as you are an awakened person, no matter what level you are, I will take it. Lao Ning was troubled by the number of students. Now suddenly many students wanted to transfer to their school. He was overjoyed. He quickly asked Tang Yu eagerly, What's going on? Please tell me carefully. Tang Yu looked embarrassed, hesitated for a while, and said, I met some people in the spiritual realm. They think Sanjiang City University is good, and they all want to transfer to our school. Lao Ning didn't think much and continued to ask. That's great, Tang Yu. Well done. The principal has made the decision. Your tuition will be waived this semester. What level of talent are these awakeners? Tang Yu was even more embarrassed, lowered his head and whispered. S or a level. Ah, Lao Ning was completely shocked. What's going on? In the next spiritual realm, you bring back a bunch of S-level and A-level awakened ones for me. Am I dreaming? Lao Ning was wondering. Ren Peng knew some secrets, he said quietly from the side. Principal, do you want to ask her why these people transfer to other schools? As a former 7th level master, Lao Ning was also keenly aware of the anomaly. Although the school now had good hardware resources, its software resources, especially the teaching staff, were not worth mentioning at all. He turned his attention to Tang Yu. Tang Yu, can you tell me why they want to transfer to our school? Tang Yu couldn't say a word. She covered her face and squatted on the ground in shame. In spiritual realm number 3, she joined an illegal organization on a whim. The full name of the organization is Wagwo Good Butts Hobby Association. The shame of this name is overwhelming. What should she say so that Lao Ning could understand that these students who want to transfer to another school are actually fresh abalones in the ovulation period? I came to our school because I wanted to watch classmate Zhong Lan doing naked exercises at close range every day. What's more, I came to our school with some ulterior motives, hoping to get the best first. In this way, it is not certain whether Lao Ning can kill her. When Ning Tong comes back, she will definitely die. But she had to tell Lao Ning, because her control was in the hands of these abalone spirits. All mistakes have a bizarre beginning. After the third battle, Zhong Lan had not come back yet. She was bored and sneaked out of the lounge and saw many beauties gathering together. Curiosity aroused, she also walked over and found that these people were discussing Zhong Lan's figure. As a veteran fan who had observed Zhong Lan up close for almost half a year, she immediately couldn't hold back and joined the battle. While drinking some wine and eating snacks, he revealed all the little secrets he knew about Zhong Lan. Finally, under the temptation of these ovulation abalone sperms, I told others my WX number. As a result, after leaving the spiritual realm, her WX was completely bombarded, and they threatened her that if she didn't help them transfer to Sanjong University, they would post all the words she said in the spiritual realm online. Tang Yu's mood was shattered at this moment. How could these abalone spirits do this? They are all sisters. How could you bear to let me die? Apart from her and Ning Tong, no other person would know those little secrets. Ning Tong will definitely not say who revealed it, everyone can figure it out with their toes. Tang Yu hesitated, his face turned red. Well, they probably admire senior sister Ning Tong and senior Zhong Lan, so they want to join our Sanjong University. Ren Peng laughed from the side. Tang Yu immediately glared at him fiercely. Lao Ning noticed something was wrong and said seriously, Tang Yu, tell the truth. The principal doesn't blame you. Tang Yu could only tell the truth hesitantly. Actually, they are probably all greedy for Zhong Lan's body, so they want to join our school, so they can get the advantage first. To her surprise, after hearing this, Lao Ning did not blame her, but his eyes lit up. What, is Zhong Lan so popular? Also, he has strong muscles, a cheerful smile, and a handsome face. Although he is almost bald now, it does not reduce his handsomeness at all. On the contrary, because of his baldness, he has gained a special heroic spirit. No wonder these female college students were fascinated by Zhong Lan. This is a good opportunity. My daughter is obsessed with Zhong Lan and can't help herself. However, if Zhong Lan changes his mind, Ning Tong will definitely regret it. It will definitely give rise to life insights. Oh, men are all the same. Men only affect how quickly I draw the knife. Lao Ning couldn't help but smile and praised Tang Yu. You did a good job on this matter. Submit their list to me. I'll take a look first. Tang Yu was originally prepared to accept the storm from the principal, but she didn't expect to receive affirmation from Lao Ning. She was shocked. Ah, good job. No, principal, are you so bottomless? Is this okay? When these abalone spirits come to our school, how can we study? The whole school is not in a state of chaos every day. Ren Peng kindly reminded Lao Ning. Principal, I'm afraid it's inappropriate to talk about this now. Zhong Lan and Ning Tong haven't come back yet. Lao Ning's expression suddenly turned sad again, and he grabbed Ren Peng's hand. Pengapong, you said they won't be in any danger. Ren Peng patted Lao Ning on the back and comforted him. No, with a person like Zhong Lan here, it's the ghosts who are in danger. Ren Peng and the others had already vividly described to Lao Ning how Zhong Lan had eaten the whole cow ghost. Principal Ning thought for a while and nodded. Indeed, there must be only one ruthless person who dares to eat ghosts and monsters in the past few decades. At this time, Zhang Xinghe also ran over, holding a mobile phone in his hand and looking nervous. Principal, something bad is going on. Lao Ning was immediately laughed out of anger. What happened today? Everyone came up and yelled, but there was no city government at all. Zhang Xinghe, you have such a stable temperament, you will not join any illegal organization. The members of the group collectively covet the beauty of Zhong Lan or Ning Tong and want to join our university. When Lao Ning took the phone and looked at it, his pupils suddenly tightened, and he couldn't help but exclaimed. What kind of plane are they doing? As the fourth day of fighting in Killing City ended, everyone except Zhong Lan and Ning Tong returned to the real world. The affairs of Zhong Lan and Ning Tong were immediately exposed by the returners. Originally, after the third battle, the popularity between the two disappeared. However, Zhong Lan's strong behavior in the fourth battle completely aroused public opinion. I saw the headlines written clearly on the front page of my mobile phone. Sanjong Private University, Zhong Lan Ning Tong, in the number 3 spiritual realm, can kill the great Tengu with one strike, with more than 2 million points, who are they? Closing square bracket. Below are hundreds of words written eloquently, describing what Zhong Lan and Ning Tong did in the number 3 spiritual realm. Barbecuing beef ghosts or grilling big Tengu wings are all childish. It focuses on describing the behavior of Zhong Lan and Ning Tong on the fourth day of the battle. Zhong Lan bit off the sword with one bite, tore off the wings of the big Tengu with his bare hands, and finally beat him to death. Countless netizens commented below, Zhong Lan, that Sanjong City, D-level talent awakener. He actually killed the final boss of the third spiritual realm, the great Tengu, with his bare hands. I'm getting violent. I suddenly have hallucinations. Can anyone wake me up? This world is too crazy. What is the origin of Sanjong City United Private University? and why can it come out on top in 3 consecutive spiritual realms? Can cows and ghosts eat? Can Big Tengu eat too? Why can a D-level talent eat ghosts? It's not an S-level talent, gluttony. If Zhonglan can eat ghosts, what does an S-level talent mean to be a glutton? Who will do it? Tell me. Piss, where did your news come from? Is it a lie? Why does it feel like you are writing a ghost story, all about what and what? D-level talent, I became bald and became stronger, am I so awesome? Let my children choose this talent next year. The second item on the hot search list is: the International Spiritual Realm Organization requested a review of the talent ratings of Zhonglan and Ningtong from Sanjiang City University. Closing square bracket. It is written below that the strength displayed by these two people in the spiritual realm has reached at least the 6th level. It is said that the D-level talent awakened by one of them turned out to be, I became bald and became stronger. But except for the fact that he was bald, all of the man's behaviors in the spiritual realm were obviously abnormal. Beat the innocent and kind-hearted Ushiki to death with his bare hands, and brutally kill the innocent Daitengu. Then they made both into roasted meat and ate them all. This heinous behavior is obviously beyond the capabilities of human beings. We seriously doubt that the man from China has awakened a D-level talent. In response to this matter, the Wagwo Spiritual Realm Management Organization is suspected of committing fraud and using powerful awakened people to replace students into the number 3 spiritual realm to obtain high points. This news directly proves the authenticity of the previous news. And there are also people in the comment area who have attached the link to this news on Google. The popularity of news on Google has exceeded 1.25 billion, and it is still increasing, and will soon exceed 1.3 billion. Zhonglan and Ningtong are famous all over the world this time. There are various signs that Zhonglan and Ningtong have indeed killed 2 bosses in the number 3 spiritual realm, and their points are far higher than those of students in the same period. Let all those who doubted the first news shut their mouths. Is that bald boy really that strong? What is used to define talent levels? Why is Zhonglan, a person who has awakened a D-level talent, so powerful? Yes, if he has awakened D-level talents, are those who have awakened S-level talents and A-level talents all mentally retarded idiots? Please explain to the Spiritual Realm Management Bureau why a person who has awakened a D-level talent can achieve extremely high results in the spiritual realm 3 times in a row. It is said that he is another awakened person in the same team. He can increase the power of others, which is why he is so powerful. That's unreasonable. This is the spiritual realm where S-level and A-level awakened people from all over the world gather. The third spiritual realm is known as the gold test field for strength. Without a few brushes, it is absolutely impossible to achieve such a good result in the third spiritual realm. In terms of grades, all foreign students are trampled under their feet. Yes, in this kind of large team spirit realm, the minimum standard for team formation is S-level or A level. It's not reasonable for a D-level awakened person to overwhelm everyone. Seeing that the situation was not good, the Spiritual Realm Management Bureau issued an urgent statement. Zhonglan's talent, after finishing the number 1 spiritual realm, we checked it again. It is indeed a D-level talent. Closing square bracket. What is Zhonglan's talent? I don't care about the International Spiritual Realm Organization. Please don't interfere roughly with the growth of students from other countries. Closing square bracket. Lao Ning looked at the breaking news on his phone, almost all of which were related to Zhonglan Ningtong. He covered his forehead and groaned in pain. It's over. 2 people made such a big noise in spiritual realm number 3. It seems that my daughter's talent cannot be hidden at all. The combination of Ningtong and Zhonglan was able to reach the 5th level, which greatly exceeded Lao Ning's expectations. In spiritual realm number 3, he had only conquered the 4th battle that year, consuming the lives of countless classmates before he piled the big Tengu to death. As a result, he still feels a little scared when he recalls the number 3 spiritual realm. Zhonglan and Ningtong were able to kill the big Tengu easily, which made him feel a little relieved that his daughter had finally grown up and could do this with a D-class waist. The entire team, except for Ningtong, who is either C-level or D-level, can actually get through the 4th battle of the number 3 spiritual realm. Is there any mystery behind the combination of their talents? When they return, be sure to have a good chat with them about this issue. Lao Ning couldn't help but shake his head and smile bitterly. It was originally his own idea, but now even he couldn't understand the combination of the two. At this moment, Lao Ning's cell phone rang. He took it out and saw that the caller was Zhang Anping. He answered, with a smile on his face. Hey, Zhang Ju, it's me. Hey, it's okay, it's all thanks to your strong support, Zhang Ju, that they have achieved such outstanding results. Oh, talent test tomorrow. Okay, pick me up early tomorrow morning. Lao Ning hung up the phone, smiling and feeling refreshed. On the phone, Zhang Anping first praised his achievements in running the school, and even vaguely promised that as long as Zhang Lan and Ning Tong were willing to participate in this talent test, he could make the decision to give Sanjiang University another small target. Of course Lao Ning agreed wholeheartedly, and together with a group of abalone spirits, no, S-level and A-level talented female students were going to transfer to Sanjiang University. All these factors, when combined, will surely make Sanjiang University bigger and stronger and create greater glory. Why don't these two little fools come back? Is Zhang Lan so persistent? Lao Ning looked at the still motionless teleportation circle, and the corners of his eyes twitched a few times. The combination of Zhang Lan and Ning Tong is so powerful, it's not impossible. The raw rice has already been cooked, so let them go. I will ask my daughter to pay attention to safety later. After you graduate, you can just let me hold your grandson. Lao Ning Lao Wai thought with relief, showing a kind smile. Principal, you laughed so obscenely just now. Tang Yu couldn't help but said. Lao Ning's face turned dark. He couldn't speak. What does it mean to laugh so vulgarly? It was obviously a loving father's smile. Your tuition is completely free. ... When he woke up early the next day, Lao Ning was completely shocked. There was still no movement in the teleportation circle. He already knew that on the fourth day of the battle, Zhang Lan ended the great Tengu and roasted it and ate it. That means that in the third spiritual realm, before the fifth day, there will be no creature in the spiritual realm that can pose a threat to them. At this moment, they have not returned to the real world. There is only one possibility. That is, Zhang Lan and Ning Tong actually tried to challenge the final boss on their own. Many students have tried before, but in the end they were unable to return. How could they think that they were so overestimating their abilities that they actually attempted to challenge something that no one had ever accomplished before? Lao Ning's vision went dark and he almost fainted on the spot. At this time, the phone in his pocket rang unexpectedly. Lao Ning answered the call with trembling hands. It was Zhang Anping. Principal Ning, the bus has arrived at the door. Just ask Zhang Lan and Ning Tong to come out and get on the bus. I have sent heavy troops to escort you. You don't have to worry about safety issues. Ning Zhengxin trembled and told Zhang Anping a piece of news that shocked him. Zhang Ju, they didn't return yesterday. On the phone, Zhang Anping's voice suddenly rose an octave. What do you mean? Ning Zhengxin hesitated and expressed his guess. I estimate that they may challenge the ultimate boss on the fifth day. ... In spiritual realm number 3, after a night of unremitting efforts, Zhang Lan was finally able to freely retract and release his heat sight. When he focused on the pineal gland in his brain, his eyes would emit powerful heat sight. Through simple experiments, the thermal sight can be said to be almost indestructible. While it has strong penetrating power, it also has extremely high temperatures that can completely melt the black shield provided by the spiritual realm. Even the protective suit of the number 3 spirit realm will be immediately destroyed by the heat vision, and the surrogate function will not work at all. It should be the powerful power of the heat vision, which directly breaks through the limit of the death substitute function. Zhang Lan was in a good mood. Seeing that the weather was very good today, he hurriedly went outside and put away his clothes with a thought. Wearing only underwear, she started Saitama's exercise method. As the exercise progressed, Zhang Lan was completely stunned. The attribute points provided by Superman's talent actually reached 1 point per hour, which was upgraded again from the previous 4 potential points per day. In other words, he will now be able to obtain 14 attribute points every day, and 420 attribute points will be credited to his account every month. Zhang Lan seems to have discovered the secret of Superman's talent. As his attributes become stronger, he will gain potential points more quickly. The doubling of potential points will lead to an upgrade in his superhuman talent and an accelerated improvement in the efficiency of absorbing sunlight energy. This will form a positive virtuous cycle that will continue to accelerate. If we look at this acceleration, it will not take more than 5 years for him to reach the 9th level. Zhang Lan had a vague guess. Previously, he was too weak to fully activate his superhuman talent. As his attributes continued to improve, he gradually touched the edge of superhuman talent. After all, what Superman passed down to him was talent, not blood, and his body had to gradually adapt to Superman's natural abilities. As his physical fitness gradually approaches Superman's body of steel, Dacao's various superpowers will slowly be activated. Who said enhanced systems can't fly? As long as he has enough attributes, Zhang Lan can not only fly, but also survive in space without protection. But now Teacher Saitama's training method seems to be a bit stretched, and he can only increase 6 attribute points in one day. But according to Zhang Lan's understanding, Saitama is a superhero no less powerful than Superman. In his mind, both have their own merits and are equally important. It makes no sense that Superman's talent can provide 8 potential points a day, while Saitama's talent can only provide 6 attribute points. He must have made some omissions, causing Saitama's talent to not be fully activated. But there's no need to worry now. You can study the issue of Saitama's talent slowly after you go back. No one in this world knows Teacher Saitama better than him. The current urgent task is to kill Hua Liao first and get more than 1,000 points of potential in the number 3 spiritual realm, so that he can at least increase 2 attributes to more than 1,000 points. Zhang Lan decided to increase his spirit to 1,000 points first. After all, in the real world, his other identity is Superman, a Superman who cannot fly. Isn't it funny? As the sun sets, night falls, the killing city begins, and the 5th battle begins. As the sun sets, the shadows are like devil's claws, completely covering the entire city. The neon lights in the city light up, and the stench of ghosts begins to fill the air. Zhang Lan and Ning Tong were waiting quietly in the city for the night march of hundreds of ghosts to begin, without any disturbance in their hearts. Zhang Lan looked at Ning Tong's pretty face as bright as the moon, her heart moved, and she gently hugged Ning Tong's weak shoulders. Ning Tong blushed and rested her head on Zhang Lan's shoulder. We didn't go back last night. My dad must have been anxious. Zhang Lan comforted her. Don't worry, I'll make a quick decision in a minute and kill the big boss, and then we'll go home. My dad has been through big storms, so he will be fine. Ning Tong's eyes suddenly widened and she looked at him. Us, our dad. This title is so shameful. How can you take it so naturally? Ning Tong raised the corners of her mouth and leaned her head against Zhang Lan's solid chest. But I like it. There was something strange in the killing city tonight. As the huge bell rang, no ghost vortex appeared. Accompanied by the clatter of footsteps, an old man with big ears, wearing wooden clogs on his feet and clasping his hands together, slowly walked over. Ning Tong looked at the old man strangely and asked Zhang Lan with doubts on his face. Who is he? Why does he appear in the city at this time? Where is the ghost? Zhang Lan chuckled. He is the ultimate boss tonight. There should be no more imps. Others may not know who the big-eared old man in front of them is. But he, who is familiar with the plot of Killing City, knows it all too well. The old man in front of me is Hua Liao, the ultimate boss of the 5th battle. What appears at this moment is his first form, laziness. The old man in front of him would not even bother to take action when faced with enemy attacks. Zhang Lan waited for the old man to approach and asked calmly. Only you. The old man stood still and raised his head, revealing a strange face that looked like a dwarf, with a sinister smile at the corner of his mouth. It's enough for me alone. No human has come to this level for a long time. You are very strong, which makes me happy, so I will help you skip the 100 Ghost Night Parade ahead. He spoke Chinese with a smooth accent, as if it were his mother tongue. Zhang Lan nodded and said without any surprise. Okay, this is more enjoyable. Are you sure you want to fight me in this form? The old man raised his head and revealed a sinister smile. Boy, I'm afraid you don't know what you are about to face. Before he finished speaking, an infinitely enlarged fist appeared in front of his eyes. With a loud bang, the old man's head immediately shattered into pieces. Ning Tong opened her mouth in surprise. This old man in front of her was the big boss of the 5th battle. Was he just punched to death by Zhang Lan? It can't be that simple. The old man's headless body fell backward, but suddenly stopped in the air, and 7 or 8 identical old men jumped out from his dilapidated body. The old men said coldly, "It's useless, you want to kill me." Before he finished speaking, Zhonglan rushed forward again and launched a series of normal attacks. Bang bang bang. Continuous explosions sounded, and all the old man's clones exploded, turning into blood and flowing on the ground. Zhonglan said coldly, "Where did all this nonsense come from?" Ning Tong looked at the blood on the ground, then at Zhonglan, and couldn't help but ask Zhonglan, "Is this the end? This old man doesn't look very good. He doesn't have much ability except for talking nonsense." Zhonglan shook his head and said in a deep voice, "It's not that simple. This ghost's name is Walao. He has 7 forms and is the incarnation of 7 evil desires. If it were to be killed so easily, no one would have been able to pass the level before." The blood on the ground slowly gathered, and a sharp female voice laughed evilly among them. "Ha ha ha, very good, although I don't know why you know this, but you and this woman will both die today." Then, big and round breasts began to grow out of the dirty blood. As the breasts continued to grow, they gradually formed a huge female body. The whole body was composed of breasts, and the head was the image of a beautiful long-haired beauty. It is the incarnation form of Walao's lust. Both Zhonglan and Ning Tong's eyes widened, although Zhonglan knew that in the form of lust, the whole body would be covered with breasts. But when he really saw the giantess composed entirely of breasts appearing in front of him, he couldn't help but be deeply shocked. The number and shape of breasts he saw this time was much more than what he had seen in his previous life combined. 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs. Well, this pair is so big that they can be counted as 2. 864 pairs. Hiss, this shape and color are excellent, but it's a pity that I don't have a camera. Before he could finish counting the number of breasts, the incarnation of the color field suddenly exploded in midair, and countless breasts flew towards Zhonglan, trying to surround him and suffocate him to death. Zhonglan's heart was very complicated. He only needed to use continuous normal attacks to destroy these flying cats. But, to be honest, this kind of service is something that no man can refuse. If you wanted to enjoy a massage service of this scale in your previous life, it would have been impossible for Xiao Yiwen to do so. For a time, Zhonglan fell into a dilemma. Ning Tong looked at the countless huge breasts flying in the air, as well as her own, which was originally considered very majestic. By comparison, she suddenly felt that she was stunted. Ning Tong felt offended. They are all shameless, even the final boss is so shameless. Do you want to compete with me for Zhonglan? The grievances she suffered in the dungeon over the past few days came to her heart, and Ning Tong suddenly became angry and evil. Her eyes turned blue, and she stretched out her hands. In an instant, all the breasts were frozen in the air, and they continued to explode. Ning Tong cooed, her slender hair flying up, pushing her mental power to the extreme. The huge head of the incarnation of lust also exploded completely. Ning Tong exploded and killed the incarnation of lust directly on the spot. A low voice sounded in their minds. "Haha, very good. You have given me too many surprises. Now, it's my turn to give you back." The dirty blood quickly took shape and turned into a beast-faced monster with tentacles all over its body. This was Walao's 3rd form, Furious. Fury is one of Walao's most powerful combat forms. It possesses powerful telekinesis and can fix human limbs and tear them into several pieces in the air. It sneered, stretched out a hand, spread out 6 fingers, and enveloped Zhonglan from afar, trying to use its mind power to restrain and pull Zhonglan into the air. In the past, this technique was ineffective against humans. As long as the mental attributes did not exceed his, there was no way to avoid being controlled by his mind. But something unexpected happened to Walao. No matter how hard it tried, it couldn't shake Zhonglan in the slightest. "Impossible. How come you, a mere human being, are mentally stronger than me?" The answer was Zhonglan's serious punch. An ever-increasing fist appeared in front of Walao's eyes. Before it even had time to react, it heard. With a loud bang, Walao's furious form exploded on the spot and turned into dirty blood again. A voice roared in the minds of Zhonglan and Ning Tong. "That's enough, you can't bear the price of irritating me." Chapter 71. Then the dirty blood swirled rapidly and turned into a tall naked middle-aged man. His muscles bulged and his expression was extremely arrogant, as if he was the king of this world. It is the fourth form of the slippery spoon, gluttony. Ning Tong couldn't help but complain to Zhang Lan. Is he a human? He changed his body 4 times and didn't wear clothes twice. The tall naked man clenched his fists, took a step forward, and roared at Ning Tong. Before he could finish his roar, Zhang Lan appeared in front of him and struck him hard on the head with a serious punch. Hua Piao sneered. His fourth form has absolute dodge skills. As long as he is aware of the attack, it cannot hit him. Therefore, Zhang Lan's attack was destined to be in vain. But he didn't expect that his 100% evasion skill would suddenly become ineffective in front of Zhang Lan's fist. There was a loud bang, and the tall naked man turned into a headless naked man. He fell straight to the ground and did not move for a long time. Hua Lao, who was in the state of a headless male corpse, roared in disbelief in their minds. Why, can you hit me? Zhang Lan sneered. You may have absolutely dodged, but Teacher Saitama's serious punch also has a 100% hit attribute bonus. 100% dodge in the face of 100% hit. Now it seems that Teacher Saitama's serious punch is more powerful. Ning Tong asked Zhang Lan hesitantly. Is this the end? I feel like this guy is not as powerful as the Daitengu. Zhang Lan moved his wrist and looked relaxed. There should be 3 more forms, but they will be coming soon. The dirty blood on the ground suddenly floated and turned into a meatball, with black steel beads emerging from the surface. This is the 5th form of slippery, greed. After charging up, it can instantly shoot out millions of steel balls, indiscriminately attacking all objects within several kilometers. This level can only be overcome forcefully. Zhang Lan said to Ning Tong. You hide in the hidden space and come out in 5 minutes. Ning Tong obediently agreed, and soon disappeared in front of Zhang Lan. As the meatball expanded to the extreme, it completely dispersed with a bang, and countless steel balls spread rapidly like a heavy rain. Steel balls have strong penetrating power, and the ground, walls, and buildings were all riddled with holes in this heavy rain. Zhang Lan didn't panic and used continuous normal attacks. His extremely high agility and mental attributes allow him to clearly see the trajectory of every steel ball and explode all the steel balls flying towards him in the air. 2 minutes later, all the steel balls that flew out flew back at extremely fast speeds, like building blocks, slowly piecing together a humanoid monster. Its face is entirely composed of bones, its eyes glow with scarlet light, and its entire body is covered in pitch-black skeletal steel armor. As he exhaled, the white breath cut through the air like a sharp sword. It even covered its forehead with one hand and let out a deafening low laugh. Ha ha ha, it's been a long time since I've released this form. Boy, I'll let you die a little more happily in a while. Zhang Lan's face became solemn. This skeleton monster is Hua Lao's strongest form, arrogant. Only this form could make him feel a hint of threat. The arrogant figure flashed and appeared in front of Zhang Lan. It raised a finger and pointed at the center of Zhang Lan's eyebrows. Have you ever experienced the power of God? Zhang Lan smiled contemptuously. God, you dare to call yourself God? Arrogant opened his big skull mouth and laughed. I have a mortal life, can't I still be called a god? Now you will pay for your arrogance and ignorance. Zhang Lan's eyes flashed and he punched hard. Where did all this nonsense come from? You won't know until you fight it. ... Ning Tong silently counted 300 in her mind and dispersed into the hidden space. Suddenly, there was a loud bang 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 sound in her ears, which made her eardrums sting. Ning Tong quickly used her spatial ability to shield the location of her eardrum. In front of his eyes, a black and red figure and a yellow figure were colliding at extremely fast speeds. When the 2 figures came into contact, the air erupted with violent ripples, causing huge waves in the city. Ning Tong had to firmly hold on to the telephone pole beside her to ensure that she would not be blown away. This was the first time she saw a monster that could confront Zhang Lan head-on. All the previous monsters were easily killed by Zhang Lan with one punch. But at this moment, the final boss of Spirit Realm number 3 was able to confront Zhang Lan head-on, which made her feel a little worried. However, Zhang Lan was getting more and more happy as he fought. Since his awakening, no opponent has been able to fight him for so long like Hua Lao's arrogant form. Have fun, keep going. Zhang Lan simply did not dodge or dodge, punching for another, punching to the flesh, and attacking Wall Lao at top speed. However, Wall Lao became more and more frightened as he fought. The bald man in yellow clothes opposite him had a body as strong as steel. All his attacks on Zhong Lan seemed to hit a thick steel plate, shattering his bones and flesh. And Zhong Lan's fist hit his bone steel armor, and the extremely strong steel bone armor kept making shattering sounds. Gradually, its body's regeneration speed could no longer keep up with the speed it was destroyed by Zhong Lan. 5 minutes later, Wall Lao stopped attacking and stood there, letting out a long sigh. Yes, human, you are strong. Then, a breeze blew by, and Wall Lao's body turned into powder inch by inch, floating in the air. Ning Tong didn't dare to breathe, so she asked Zhong Lan nervously. Is he dead? Zhong Lan raised his head and saw a huge black figure in the sky with scarlet eyes, watching them coldly. This is Wall Lao's 7th form, named Jealousy. It can emit death light from its eyes. People who are hit by the death light will immediately turn into flying ashes. Jealousy's eyes were red, shooting out death rays, and headed straight towards Zhong Lan. Zhong Lan smiled coldly. If he had awakened his heat vision, it might be a bit difficult to deal with it. But now, this weak light is like the light of a firefly compared to Superman's heat vision. His eyes also gradually turned red, emitting a red light that was several times brighter and more intense than the envy death light. The red rays of light converged in midair, and the violent energy collision caused the air to fluctuate violently. Ning Tong's hair turned yellow because of this. She quickly held up the space barrier and could barely stand close to watch the battle. The jealous death ray was retreating steadily in the face of Zhong Lan's hot sight, and then the heat sight directly pierced the black shadow's head. Wall Lao let out a helpless roar in midair, and the black shadow shattered inch by inch and disappeared completely. Ning Tong witnessed this shocking battle. Her palms were covered with sweat, and she asked Zhong Lan nervously. He should be dead this time. Zhong Lan shook his head. According to his understanding, Wall Lao should be similar to the existence of world consciousness. It can be said that as long as the world of Killing City exists, he will be immortal. In midair, dark clouds were gathering, and a huge ghost took shape in the dark clouds. It was hundreds of meters tall, completely blocking the moonlight in the night sky, and it roared like a bell. Mortal, you've pissed me off to the core. Zhong Lan smiled coldly, his eyes turned red again, and looked at him without fear. Having inherited the talents of Saitama and Superman, he dares to fight even a god. If you don't have this kind of invincible mentality, just go home as soon as possible and lie down and die. Any time he flinches, he is insulting the powerful heritage of these two heroes. It took a long time for the huge ghost to slowly dissipate, and only Zhong Lan heard a voice in his mind, low and loud. You are a strong human being and have won my respect. We will meet again in the future. As the portal slowly opened around the two of them, Ning Tong finally confirmed that after 5 battles, they finally won. She cheered, hugged Zhong Lan's neck, and hung her whole body on Zhong Lan. We won. You are too strong, Zhong Lan. Zhong Lan smiled softly. He didn't expect Wall Lao's final form to be so powerful. Even he felt a strong threat. But no matter what, he won this battle. Defeat powerful ghosts with 7 forms. He also set a record, and the number 3 spiritual realm was finally completely conquered by him. He and Ning Tong returned to the lounge, and the light screen displayed, "Congratulations to both of you for clearing Killing City, 100 Ghost Night Walk. You will return to the real world in 10 seconds. The points are as follows. First place, Room 04060, 12.86 million points." Zhong Lan's face froze, and I said, how should I explain to the media with such a high score when I go out? If you want to talk about millions, everyone should be able to understand it given the history of high scores in the number 1 and number 2 spiritual realms. And he did kill 2 bosses in succession in spirit realm number 3. Although one of them committed suicide, the high score was normal. After returning home, he could barely quibble. But this is 10 million, and the second place only has tens of thousands of points. With so many points difference, anyone can know that they have killed the big boss in the 5th battle. Ning Tong obviously thought about this problem, and she looked over with a worried look. Before the two of them could react, a beam of light enveloped them. Zhong Lan hurriedly took off the bracelet, handed it to Ning Tong, and said hurriedly, "Bracelet, Bracelet. Ning Tong also suddenly realized it, and quickly took off her bracelets and put the 2 bracelets into her storage space. The next second, Zhong Lan stared at her. Tong Tong, you seem to have grown again. Only then did Ning Tong realize that she was completely naked. She showed her face calmly and openly. How is it? How does it compare to those foreign girls? Poof, Zhong Lan suddenly had nosebleeds. The only time he was injured in spiritual realm number 3 was when he was injured by Ning Tong before returning. The word is like a knife to the head, Zhong Lan couldn't help but sigh. As the light from the teleportation dissipated, Zhong Lan and Ning Tong saw Lao Ning sitting next to the teleportation circle with runny nose and tears. A small fire was set up and paper money was constantly thrown into it. Tong Tong, you died miserably. I told you not to team up with Zhong Lan, but you refused to listen. It's okay now. What do you think? Let's challenge the big boss in the 5th battle. It must be Zhong Lan, who instigated you, and that's why you're so confused, woo woo woo. When it comes to sadness, Lao Ning sheds tears all over his nose, which can really be called tears. Ning Tong shook his head. He didn't expect to see his father like this as soon as he came out. His image was completely ruined. She covered her face and couldn't bear to look at her miserable old father. She turned around and asked Zhong Lan in his ear. If you don't tell me, our dad will be fine despite the strong wind and waves. Will he be all right? Zhong Lan also had a look on his face that he couldn't bear to look at. He didn't expect that Lao Ning, a former 7th level powerhouse, usually looked like a mature and steady middle-aged man with an imposing manner. When something big happens, just crying like this is a shame for the headmaster of the school. But we can't blame Lao Ning for being so pessimistic and started burning paper for Ning Tong. In fact, the news that Zhang Anping revealed in a hurry yesterday made Lao Ning feel despair. Zhang Anping became anxious when he heard Lao Ning say that Zhong Lan and Ning Tong were going to challenge the big boss on the 5th day. What? According to the latest data from the spiritual realm detector, the space radiation intensity of the 3rd spiritual realm far exceeds that of the 10th spiritual realm. According to the latest spiritual realm measurement method, the 3rd spiritual realm should be the 15th spiritual realm. What do they think that they dare to challenge the final boss in the 5th battle? Zhang Anping paused for a moment, then slashed hard, opening a big hole in old Ning's bleeding heart. The ultimate boss of the 3rd spiritual realm, according to the inference of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, should be at least the 7th level. When Lao Ning heard the news, he was stunned and his lips trembled. Zhongju, is there any way to rescue the 2 of them from the spiritual realm in advance? My daughter has awakened her talent, but... Zhang Anping was silent for a while, his voice low. You were once a 7th level master. You should know very well that once you enter the spiritual realm, you will no longer be controllable. Even a master who has awakened the same talent as your daughter will be powerless to save people. Zhang Anping sighed on the other end of the phone. Old Ning, please forgive me, don't say anything anymore, please take care of yourself. Then the students saw the usually calm principal standing guard next to the teleportation circle. In the end, I didn't even know where to get a stack of paper money and started burning paper. Ren Peng and Tang Yu both felt that the principal's behavior was a bit outrageous, and they went to persuade him many times in private. No, principal, the combination of Zhong Lan and Ning Tong is so perverted that even the big boss on the last day may not be able to do anything to them. Yeah, maybe the big boss has been killed by brother Zhong Lan and made into a ghost sashimi. Lao Ning shook his head in despair. He had been to the 7th level before and knew clearly how big the gap was between the 7th level master and the 5th level master. You don't understand the dangers of the 3rd spiritual realm and the 5th battle. It's useless, there is absolutely no way they will survive. Lao Ning was in grief. Suddenly I saw my classmates and rushed out of the dormitory. Everyone's eyes were full of surprise, and they were already exclaiming before anyone arrived. It's Brother Lan, Sister Tong. Brother Lan, Sister Tong, have you killed the big boss on the 5th day? It's so strong. Tell us how you did it. Brother Lan, Sister Tong, you are indeed a more perverted and powerful person than a ghost. Did you make the big boss into a sashimi? Lao Ning's face was filled with doubts. What's wrong with you? Are you all crazy? Or am I missing my daughter too much and hallucinating? Ren Peng looked happy and shouted to him loudly. Principal, look behind you. Lao Ning looked puzzled, turned his head back, and his eyes suddenly widened. Me, what did I see? How is it possible? Am I dreaming, or are there ghosts back? It wasn't until Tang Yu and Ning Tong hugged each other that he confirmed that Zhong Lan and his daughter were not ghosts. They had really opened up to the number 3 spiritual realm and returned safely. Lao Ning saw his daughter and Zhong Lan looking at him with a smile. Especially Zhong Lan, that teasing smile made Lao Ning unable to help but want to go up and knock his bald head. His old face suddenly turned red, he jumped up, stamped out the fire with his feet, coughed, and said in a cover-up. It's getting cold, and I just want to warm up by the fire. Later, Lao Ning grabbed Zhong Lan and asked, "Tell me, how did you get through the 5th battle in the 3rd spiritual realm?" Zhong Lan and Ning Tong looked at each other and nodded vaguely to each other. When he came out, Zhong Lan had already prepared a draft. He coughed, cleared his throat, and began to use his own innate skills. Really, some nonsense. Zhong Lan's expression was solemn, as if recalling that scene made him feel extremely horrified. He squinted his eyes, remembering that scene. Ah, there are so many breasts. It's a pity that I didn't enjoy the massage service of breasts at that time, so they were all blown up by Ning Tong. It's a pity. Zhong Lan quickly shook his head. Why do I have such distracting thoughts? Walao must be still disturbing me. Zhong Lan pushed these distracting thoughts that did not belong to him out of his mind and said in a deep voice. The big boss on the 5th day is named Walao. He is a collection of 7 evil thoughts. He even falsely claims that he is the god of the 3rd spiritual realm and is immortal. Tang Yu exclaimed, "Ah, how can you beat him? Moreover, the 7 forms mean that there are 7 ways to eat it." Zhong Lan's emotions that were finally brewing were suddenly interrupted by Tang Yu, and he couldn't help but glare at Tang Yu. "You are a foodie, you just know how to eat. Don't interrupt, just listen to me." Zhong Lan regained his emotions and spoke with both emotion and emotion. His first form is an old man, which represents laziness. He was too lazy to take action against me and Ning Tong, and actually fell asleep in front of us. Ren Peng and the others opened their mouths as if they were listening to a book from heaven, and subconsciously echoed. "Ah, so arrogant. What happens next? Brother Lan, why don't you take the opportunity to blow his head off?" "Good opportunity, roast him quickly and eat him." Zhong Lan was almost beaten by Tang Yu again. "How obsessed are you with eating ghosts and monsters? Wouldn't it be that you didn't eat the bullwhip? As for no." He couldn't help but roll his eyes at Tang Yu. "If you mention eating again, I'll roast you and eat it." Zhong Lan slapped his thigh. "You can't fight. I feel an aura as strong as the abyss from him." At that time, Ning Tong and I knew that we were definitely no match for him, so we turned around and ran away while he was asleep. When we ran out of the city, he woke up and chased us, but there seemed to be some kind of restriction in the city that prevented him from leaving the battlefield. The minds of the people listening around were running wildly, with only one thought in their hearts. "Huh, is this okay? Really or not? It's unlikely. That's too ridiculous." Zhong Lan finally ended this nonsense amidst bursts of exclamations. After we ran out of the city, after a while, he saw that he couldn't do anything to us, so he could only leave a sentence, "Just wait for me, it will never be so simple next time," and then disappeared, and then Ning Tong and I were killed. It was teleported back. Do you think it's magical or not? Zhong Lan wiped his sweat and talked nonsense, which made him feel that it was more difficult than facing Walao head on. In just a short while, he was already breaking out in a cold sweat. He knew it was far-fetched to say this, but what could he do to me? Anyway, he and Ning Tong were the only ones who got through 5 battles. Whatever he said was what he said, and strategic retreat if he couldn't beat them was one of the tactics he had planned from the beginning. Do not believe. If you don't believe me, go in and fight through 5 battles yourself, and then come back and refute me. With the strength of these students, there is 100% chance of no return. Ren Peng and the others couldn't help but beat their chests and beat their feet. If I had known better, Brother Lan, we would have stayed until the end. Those who have mastered the number 3 spiritual realm will find it easy to find a job after graduation. Yes, I always regret it. Brother Lan, I heard that you grilled the big tengu wings and ate them. How about it? It tastes very good. Lao Ning looked strange. He didn't say much. He just took a deep look at Zhong Lan and Ning Tong and gave instructions. Back in front of reporters, just think of what you want to say. After saying that, he put his hands behind his back and walked slowly towards his room. Zhang Lan nodded. He never thought that these words could deceive everyone. In his words, there were half-truths and half-lies about the big boss. Even if everyone was confused, they could not directly question it. After all, so far, only he and Ningtong have cleared the 5th battle of the number 3 spiritual realm. Anyone who dares to question me should verify it for himself. If he can come back alive, he can confront me face to face. Lao Ning rounded a corner and waited until all the students disappeared from his sight. He immediately took out his cell phone and called Zhang Anping with excitement. Hey, Zhangju. Yes, it's me. It's no big deal to disturb you so late. I'm here to announce the good news. Ah ha ha, yes, Director Zhang, you are really wise. Zhang Lan and Ningtong are back. He even cleared the 5th battle in spiritual realm number 3. Ah ha ha, we are all happy. Zhangju, the 5th battle you mentioned, the big boss doesn't seem to be that strong. How did you do it? I'm not sure. You can ask them later. Okay, then tomorrow, I will take them to do a talent test, then you agree to a small goal of mine. Ah ha ha, okay, Director Zhang is welcome to come and guide the work at any time. Putting down the phone, Lao Ning swept away the gloom and depression of the past few days and his face was filled with joy. Another small target was successfully obtained from Zhang Anping. He looked at the bright crescent moon in the sky, looked up to the sky and sighed, his eyes seemed to be filled with water. Mom Tongtong, our daughter has finally grown up. In the imperial capital, Zhang Anping looked helpless. He was woken up by Ning Zhengxin's call in the middle of the night, which made him feel angry. He could imagine Ning Zhengxin's old face on the other end of the phone, filled with pride. But when he heard that Zhang Lan and Ningtong had cleared the 5th battle in the 3rd spiritual realm, his eyes widened instantly and he no longer felt sleepy. What? Did I hear that right? No one has ever cleared the 5th battle of spiritual realm number 3, but it was actually cleared by 2 freshmen from a private university. Even before, number 1 and number 2 spiritual realm, Zhang Lan and Ningtong all achieved staggering results. But, how is it possible in spiritual realm number 3? If those old guys from the Chinese Academy of Sciences are right, the true difficulty of the number 3 spiritual realm should be at least 15th, and the final boss must be at least the 7th level. Impossible. Is Ning Zhengxin overly sad and schizophrenic? By the way, the spiritual realm detector, if they really defeat the number 3 spiritual realm, the big boss of the 5th battle, the scores on the spiritual realm detector will definitely be reflected. He jumped out of bed, ignoring his wife's pleas to stay. Husband, the doctor said these days are the best period. Let's try again. With a heart as strong as steel, he drove overnight to the Spiritual Realm Administration Bureau. The Spirit Realm Management Bureau is located in the Qishan Mountains on the outskirts of the imperial capital. At 12 o'clock at midnight, the white building with 3 floors above ground and 5 floors underground looked like a haunted house, eerily quiet. Zhang Anping went to the 3rd underground floor of the management office, took out the key, entered the password, passed the iris verification, and entered a tightly protected dust-free room. In the center of the room, there is a huge black box. This is the spiritual realm detector. It almost occupies the entire room. It is completely black and made of unknown material. The machine made a slight buzzing sound and worked 24 hours a day without sleep. However, due to the number 3 spiritual realm, everyone thought it was over and no one was left to guard it. Zhang Anping's hands trembled as he turned on the monitor connected to the spiritual realm detector. As the screen slowly lit up, Zhang Anping's pupils shrank violently. He couldn't help but exclaimed. Early the next morning, Lao Ning was awakened by countless noises. He opened his eyes in a daze and pushed open the door. The scene in front of him made his eyes widen completely. The playground of the entire Sanjiang City Joint Private University was densely packed with people. They were all reporters, countless reporters, shotguns and cannons, and some even drove in with camera trucks. The guard, Lao Wang, was in ragged clothes and his vest was torn, and he was crying. Principal, I really can't stop them. I was almost ruined by them. Principal, you have to make the decision for me. Before he finished speaking, Lao Wang was grabbed by the collar by countless reporters, thrown aside in disgust, and completely disappeared. The corners of Lao Ning's eyes twitched, thinking silently, let Lao Wang count it as a work-related injury and let him retire. It seems that it is useless and needs to recruit a young and strong guard. When the reporters saw Lao Ning, they suddenly went crazy and rushed towards him. Countless questions were fired at Lao Ning like machine gun bullets. Principal Ning, what do you think of Zhonglan and Ning Tong's victory in the 5th battle of spiritual realm number 3? Principal Ning, what is Zhonglan's talent? Why can he eat ghost meat raw? Principal Ning, why did Zhonglan and Ning Tong get more than 10 million points? What do you think? Principal Ning, Zhonglan, did he falsely report his talent? Does Sanjiang University have secret technology that can change talent? Principal Ning. Lao Ning suddenly felt his head buzzing. He stretched out his hands and shouted. Stop, everyone go to the school auditorium. We will hold a press conference later. When expanding the campus, Lao Ning specially built a large auditorium that could accommodate thousands of people just to cope with today's situation. Just a few days after it was built, it came in handy. Lao Ning called Zhonglan and Ning Tong, and the three of them hurried towards the auditorium. On the way, they turned on their mobile phones, and sure enough, the first 5 headlines on the front page were all about him and Ning Tong's successful return from the number 3 spiritual realm. The titles are more explosive than the last. Zhonglan and Ning Tong once again created a miracle and obtained a high score of 10 million points in the number 3 spiritual realm. Who are they? Closing square bracket. No one has ever cleared the number 3 spiritual realm. After 5 battles, it was actually cleared by a freshman from a private university. Is this a loss of morality or a distortion of human nature? Closing square bracket. With AD level talent, I became bald and became stronger. I can actually eat ghost meat raw. So what's the point of having an S level talent for gluttony? Is there a problem with talent grading? Closing square bracket. All of this stems from the Spiritual Realm Report Card number 3 released by the Spiritual Realm Management Bureau at 6 in the morning. The last list of number 1 Spirit Realm shocked the public. The gap between 1 million and several hundred was extremely outrageous. This time, everyone is actually mentally prepared for the number 3 Spiritual Realm. After all, after the 4th battle, the students who returned early had disclosed the scores in the Spirit Realm to the teachers and relevant news media. Everyone accepted it in their hearts. Zhonglan and Ning Tong both won the first place in the number 3 spiritual realm. I am even more prepared to wait for them to return and find out why the combination of Zhonglan and Ning Tong is so powerful. The reporters all swore that they would never be fooled by Zhonglan again. But with the release of the latest number 3 Spiritual Realm Report Card from the Spiritual Realm Management Bureau, everyone was completely shocked. What, isn't it 2 million points? How did it become more than 12 million? Wait, if it is more than 12 million points, there can only be one explanation. That is, Zhonglan and Ning Tong were able to achieve such exaggerated results by clearing the number 3 spiritual realm and killing the big boss in the 5th battle on the spot. No wonder Zhonglan and Ning Tong never showed up in school yesterday. Looking back now, it makes sense why there was such a huge public turmoil yesterday and no media could publish a press release interviewing the two of them. The actual situation is that Zhonglan and Ning Tong never came back at all. Instead, go directly to challenge the ultimate boss of the 5th battle in spiritual realm number 3. Most students, on the 3rd day or even the 2nd day, are limited by their strength and have to return to reality. Students who can survive the 4th day will already be certified as strong. And now, someone actually spent the 5th day. This is unprecedented big news since the spiritual realm was opened. Journalists were like sharks smelling blood. Not only all the media groups in Sanjiang City were dispatched. Even the Magic City, which is more than 200 kilometers away, sent special reporters to take risks and pass through the ferocious beast area in an effort to get first-hand information. Half an hour later, Zhonglan walked into the center of the auditorium wearing a yellow battle suit and a white cloak. Many foreign reporters saw this in person for the first time. At this moment, Zhonglan, as he gradually develops his invincible temperament, is full of masculine charm in his every move. His powerful momentum and handsome appearance made many female reporters in the audience breathe quickly and whisper among themselves. It's really good. Looking at his workout videos, he's not so handsome. When he put on his clothes, I almost didn't recognize him. A man needs clothes and a horse needs a saddle. All you see are videos of him without clothes. Zhang Lan is already in good condition. He looks even more handsome today when he puts on this outfit and brings out his temperament. I've already thought of the headline for this time. Zhang Lan, the most handsome college student in China. I heard that he has several titles now, such as, Guo has good abs, and, Guo has good buttocks. There are fans all over the world. Ah, are you in the group? Pull me in. If IV is 50, I will invite you into the group. Make a deal. Ning Tong stood on the high platform of the auditorium. After passing through the number 3 spiritual realm, her spiritual attributes had reached very high values. She could hear the whispers of the female reporters below clearly. Ning Tong couldn't help but snorted coldly. A dangerous blue light flashed in his eyes. Zhang Lan stood still on the podium and said loudly, "Everyone, I know that you have a lot of doubts about this number 3 spiritual realm. Today, as the external representative of Sanjiang City University, I will answer your questions. Please raise your hands to ask questions." This female reporter wearing glasses, you go first. Zhang Lan saw the twin tails of the young female reporter from the first 2 times, and estimated that she would not ask too much questions in such a formal occasion. Out of habit, Zhang Lan named her first. The female reporter with twin ponytails had tears of happiness in her eyes. Zhang Lan was the first to name her every time. Was he interested in her? It seems that having twin tails can attract the attention of men who love to drive fast cars. However, there were thousands of colleagues present today, so she was embarrassed to ask the same question as last time. So it was rare for me to take it seriously. She held the microphone, her face flushed, and her voice was soft and waxy, mixed with vibrato. Everyone can hear the smell of fresh seafood in her voice. Classmate Zhang Lan, what I want to ask is, have you and Ning Tong passed the 5th battle of spiritual realm number 3? Zhang Lan couldn't help but nodded. Your IQ is finally online. This should be everyone's biggest concern. He looked around, nodded, and answered in the affirmative. Yes, you guessed it right, Ning Tong and I passed the number 3 spiritual realm. Suddenly, there was a burst of noise in the auditorium, and all the reporters' eyes showed excitement. Although everyone had already made speculations before, it was another story to hear Zhang Lan admit it personally. The female reporter with twin ponytails was so excited that her legs became weak and her voice completely trembled. Then, student Zhang Lan, can you share with us your method of clearing the level? Zhang Lan repeated what he said to Liao Ning yesterday. Zhang Lan also added a special sentence, fearing that some weak-minded juniors would actually challenge Wu Lao. By the way, before I left the number 3 spiritual realm, I seemed to see the light screen in the room showing that the loophole had been repaired. The reporters in the audience are just like Ren Peng, with dull expressions and confused hearts. Ah, what? Is it that simple? That's impossible, are you lying to us? It's really that simple. Someone has already cleared the level. After a few seconds, countless reporters raised questions. It's impossible. If it's really that simple, why has no one been able to pass the 5th battle in the 3rd spiritual realm before? Zhang Lan spread his hands with a helpless expression. Then ask them, how do I know why they haven't even passed such a simple spiritual realm? It's like the big boss Niu Gui in the 3rd battle. I didn't do anything, I just jumped on its head, and it couldn't bear the insult and committed suicide. Where can I find someone to reason with it? Many reporters were shocked at the time. What Zhang Lan said seemed to make sense. Are there any problems with the previous strategies used by the students? Obviously you can rely on your skills, but you have to rely on your youth and good health to rush in hard, but in the end, you go early before the critical moment. The female reporter with twin ponytails continued to ask questions. Classmate Zhang Lan, could you please tell me how many potential points were awarded in the 3rd spiritual realm? Zhang Lan sighed. Maybe it's because the number 3 spiritual realm we used to get through in a tricky way led to the final settlement, which only gave us 300 potential points. The reporters in the audience nodded. It was reasonable to say so. After all, there is no big boss that has really been defeated in the 5th battle. Why should I give them full potential points? Another female reporter with short hair and big, refreshing eyes took advantage of the chaos to ask questions. Then Zhang Lan, how do you explain your behavior of eating raw ghost meat in the spiritual realm? As far as we know, among all talents, only the S-level talent of gluttony has the ability to eat raw ghost meat. Is it really the D-level talent that you awakened? Zhang Lan said helplessly. Which fool is saying that I eat ghost flesh alive? Come forward and see if I don't beat him to death. I obviously eat it well after it's roasted, but is it the same as eating it raw? No one really eats ghost meat alive, right? Zhang Lan said sadly. The reason why humans have evolved from eating hair and drinking blood to the present is that they have learned to use fire. Why do some people still think about eating raw meat? Those people who mutated before must have eaten raw ghost meat. Let's try roasting them next time. The reporters were all shocked. Ah, is this the reason? Although it sounds reasonable, I always feel like something is wrong. There are only a handful of people who dare to try ghost meat, and they all become mutated after eating it. As a result, there is no detailed information on whether they ate it raw or roasted. The reporters felt that their IQs were being crushed repeatedly by Zhang Lan. They had an intuition that something was wrong, but they had no way to refute. Finally, a mature middle-aged man wearing glasses asked, "Then how do you explain the act of biting off the great Tengu's sword with one bite and beating it to death with your bare hands? Why do you, AD-level talent awakener, have such great strength? Is your talent fake?" Before Zhang Lan had time to speak, Ningtong scolded him angrily. "That's enough. What qualifications do you have to come here and question Zhang Lan's strength?" Following Ningtong's sudden upheaval, everyone in the auditorium felt their bodies sink, as if a heavy weight had been placed on them. Ningtong's whole body was surrounded by azure light, and the whites of her eyes turned into a deep blue like the sea, slowly floating in the air. There was an uproar in the auditorium, and some reporters were dumbfounded and shouted regardless of their image. "Ah, this is a spiritual power that exceeds 1,000. How is it possible? Why is it that a freshman can actually have a spiritual power of over 1,000 and become a stable 4th-level powerhouse? Impossible. Is he already a 4th-level powerhouse at such a young age? It's too strong. Her attribute can increase others' power. Even a dog can take off. No wonder Zhang Lan can kill the big Tengu with his bare hands and crush the sword to pieces. If it were me, I can do it too." The blue biological force field appearing outside Ningtong's body and floating in the air are the most powerful evidence that his mental power has exceeded 1,000. Before entering the number 3 spiritual realm, Ningtong's mental power was already close to 500. Clearing spirit realm number 3 will instantly reward you with 1,500 potential points. With so many potential points, it would take at least 3.5 months at the rate of attribute growth after Zhang Lan's Superman talent upgrade. Although the number 3 spiritual realm took a little risk, Zhang Lan said it was worth it. After Ningtong got the potential points, she directly increased her mental attributes to 2,000 points. Now she is already a mid-level 4th-level expert, and she has awakened her natural skill, gravity space. Not only can she fly in the air with the help of biological force fields, you can also change the gravity of a space. If the manipulated space is locked to the size of a room, the gravity can be increased up to 20 times. The S-level hidden talent, space control, is very powerful, and is a well-deserved top S-level talent. The reporters opened their mouths and widened their eyes. What did we see? A freshman, less than half a year after entering school, actually reached the 4th level. He even had over 1,000 spiritual powers and could fly in the air. Oh my God, we actually witnessed the birth of the youngest 4th-level strong man in China. Ms. Yu, one of the strongest 3 emperors in China, only reached the 4th level in the second half of her junior year. And now, Ningtong has reached level 4 in the first half of her freshman year. It's incredible. Ningtong suddenly became the focus of the audience, and reporters suddenly realized that Ningtong was the hidden boss. Zhang Lan's ability to kill several big bosses in the number 3 spiritual realm must be due to Ningtong. The rumors turned out to be true. Zhang Lan is a soft-boiled guy who relies on his handsome face to make ends meet. He has been holding Ningtong's thigh until now, and he even luckily passed the 5th battle in the number 3 spiritual realm. The big Tengu was beaten to death, and it must have been Ningtong who gave him a 100-fold increase. Ning Tong nodded towards Zhong Lan. She chose to expose her own strength in order to better hide Zhong Lan's strength. One of them is in the light, the other is in the dark. Ning Tong is attracting firepower from the front, and Zhong Lan is silently guarding her from behind, cutting off any evil hands that dared to covet her talent. Zhong Lan secretly gave Ning Tong a thumbs up. This girl, Ning Tong, is not only fair and beautiful with long legs, but also has a very online mind. At the critical moment, she chose to expose her talent and attract the attention of reporters, immediately drawing everyone's focus to her side. With the youngest 4th level strong man in front, who cares about AD level useless bald guy? The reporters immediately turned their attention to Ning Tong. Classmate Ning Tong, what is your talent and why is it so powerful? Classmate Ning Tong, how many true attributes of your mental power do you have now? Is it 5,000? Classmate Ning Tong, are you interested in transferring to our Shanghai University? We can give you a scholarship of 1 million yuan every year. When Zhong Lan heard this, he couldn't help but glance at the person who spoke. Brother, before poaching, please do some research first. Sanjiang City University belongs to Ning Tong's family, and her father is the principal. In the school, she is not just a princess, but she is inferior to one person and superior to 10,000 people. Poaching me is more reliable than poaching Ning Tong. Of course, no matter how much money you give me, I won't transfer to another school. It's not about the money, it's mainly because I'm used to the pleasure of breaking into the girls' dormitory at night and eating meat. At this moment, the door of the auditorium opened and Lao Ning walked in and spoke loudly. Dear reporter friends, Zhong Lan and Ning Tong are now going to Sanjiang City Lingjing Management Bureau for the second talent test. You are welcome to come for interviews next time. Zhong Lan and Ning Tong finally got rid of the reporters who were like flies. After getting into the bulletproof bus, Ning Tong touched Zhong Lan's yellow jersey and asked him in a low voice. You're changing into it so soon? Zhong Lan nodded. The protective bracelet of the number 3 spiritual realm was very magical and could complete the transformation in a very short time. For people like him who need multiple identities, it can be called an artifact. As for the protection and surrogate functions, no use at all. Ning Tong's eyes looked back and forth on Zhong Lan's fit body. Where's that bracelet? Where did you hide it? Zhong Lan was very proud when he mentioned this. Brother, hide it in a place where others will never find it. Ning Tong's eyes widened in surprise. She couldn't help but glanced at Zhong Lan's lower third, hesitating. Ah, no one will see you there, but aren't you afraid of necrosis? Zhong Lan didn't understand what she meant at first. Gradually, his smile solidified, and he couldn't help but blush, and roared in a low voice. It's a toe, a toe. What are you thinking about in your little head every day? Only then did Ning Tong realize that he had thought wrongly. She immediately covered her face and turned red all over. The snow-white neck is as red as a ripe apple in autumn. There were no accidents on the way, and several people arrived at Sanjiang City Lingjing Management Bureau smoothly. Lin Zi had been waiting at the door for a long time. He hurriedly caught up a few steps and held Lao Ning's hand tightly. Principal Ning, you are finally here. If you don't come, those old experts from Wyan Institute will eat me. Lao Ning smiled and comforted him, showing off his emotional intelligence. Don't worry, I can't let go of your Forest Bureau's pigeons either. You know what happened between the two of them. In the morning, a bunch of reporters rushed into the campus as if they were desperate for their lives. We are not allowed to open. It was a press conference, so it was delayed for a while, so that you, Forest Bureau, would have to worry more. Such thoughtful words made Lin Zi so moved that he nodded repeatedly. Lao Ning can be dealt with. Everyone followed Lin Zi's footsteps to the testing hall. A group of white-haired old men, mixed with some middle-aged uncles, rushed up one after another. Lin Zi smiled politely and introduced. These are experts from the Chinese Academy of Sciences, enjoying deputy national level treatment. After hearing about Zhong Lan and Ning Tong, I was very curious about their talents. I took a special plane overnight and rushed to Sanjiang City. Yesterday I heard that the two of them were going to challenging the number 3 spiritual realm ultimate boss. Some of them almost fainted from tears. The old men turned a blind eye to Lin Zi, as if they had not heard his words, and bypassed him and Lao Ning, surrounding Zhong Lan. Directly facing Zhong Lan, he started to make comments. Tisk tisk, this figure and this degree of baldness are indeed the best evidence that I have awakened my D-level talent. Zhang Lan immediately clenched his fists. This old guy really didn't know what to say. Young man, I have some poisonous mushrooms here. Eat them and see if anything happens to you. Zhang Lan's face was covered with black lines. What the hell, you want to eat it yourself? Young man, I'm going to take a comprehensive test soon. It's been less than half a year since you awakened. Have you reached the 3rd level? Ning Tong was left alone, with no expert around him. Lao Ning and Lin Zi looked at this scene awkwardly. In order to ease the situation, Ning Zhengxin asked Lin Zi casually. Didn't you say that there are people from the International Spirit Realm Organization? Why didn't you see them? Lin Zi shrugged and made a helpless expression. Those grandsons heard yesterday that Zhang Lan and Ning Tong challenged the number 3 Spirit Realm to the 5th battle. They took a special plane back to the U.S. headquarters that night, and they kept complaining about us, saying that their trip was in vain. In other words, the people in the International Spirit Realm Organization did not think that Zhang Lan and Ning Tong could come back alive from the number 3 Spirit Realm. Lao Ning sneered, they were just a bunch of blind fools. However, Ning Tong from the province will face more dangers after his talent is discovered by the International Spiritual Realm Organization. After all, Ning Tong's talent will have endless possibilities as long as it grows. Zhang Lan stood there, surrounded by a group of old men, feeling extremely helpless. Uncles, have you made a mistake? Why are you surrounding me, a D-level talent awakener? Shouldn't Ning Tong's talent be more valuable for research? Lin Zi also had a dull look on his face, and he kindly reminded the experts. Everyone, that's Ning Tong over there. Her last talent test result was 404 and she needs to be tested again. Did you get the wrong target? An old man with a goatee and a cane sneered. Although Ning Tong's talent is not recorded in the database, we know better than she does what kind of talent it is. There is no need to test it again. But this young man Zhang Lan, come here and let me touch it again. Quote. After listening to these experts for a long time, Zhang Lan finally figured it out. It turns out that the old experts from the Chinese Academy of Sciences all came for his talent. No matter what happened in the past, it seems now that the talent of, I became bald and became stronger, in Zhang Lan has far surpassed the level of D-level talent. In other words, this time the old experts are planning to regrade the D-level talent, I became bald and became stronger. Upon hearing the news, Zhang Lan immediately became energetic. He was originally very dissatisfied with Saitama and Dakao's talents being rated as D-level. Now he finally had the opportunity to rectify their names. How could he miss it? Zhang Lan asked the old man with the goatee. What are the rules for talent grading? What do I need to do? After coming out of the number 3 spiritual realm, Zhang Lan's attributes changed. Physique, 593. Spirit, 591. Strength, 593. Agility, 593. Potential points, 1508. Talent 1. Saitama's talent. Talent 2. Superhuman talent. Talent skill 1. Clairvoyance. Talent skill 2. Thermal vision. His total attributes, including potential points, are close to 4,000 points. If all potential points were converted into attributes, Zhang Lan didn't know what powerful innate skills he would awaken. In order to fool through this talent test, he deliberately did not use the 1,500 potential points awarded. Otherwise, his current values would have 3 real attributes exceeding 1,000. At least he will be awakened, and he should have the 3 biological stances and even the ability to fly now. When an awakened person first appears as a biological person, there will be a period of adaptation, and it is easy for others to spot the clues. Just like Ning Tong, after her mental power reached 1,000, she would often float unconsciously, and she still felt like she was walking, with her legs swinging unconsciously. Zhang Lan wanted to understand the talent grading rules clearly, so that he would neither be too low nor too high. The Divine Punishment Organization is like a tarsal maggot, always trying to steal Ning Tong's talent. If he reveals his powerful strength, it will inevitably arouse the vigilance and targeting of the Divine Punishment Organization. There are various talents and abilities, and maybe some weird ability will cause him to miss the opportunity to save Ning Tong. Only by hiding his strength can he better protect Ning Tong. Zhang Lan remembered that teacher Saitama was originally a C-level hero, but he was upgraded to the 39th A-level hero for the second time. He decided to do the same thing this time. Let's upgrade teacher Saitama's talent to a level first, and then look for opportunities to upgrade it to S level later. He also plans to go to the Five Elements Alliance and regrade Dakao's talents through the Five Elements Alliance after the matter with the Spiritual Realm Management Bureau is settled. The old man with the goatee slowly explained to Zhang Lan the rules for talent assessment. The rating is mainly based on the following three aspects: actual combat strength, growth potential, and talent skill rating. There are more rating levels of talent skills than awakening talents, ranging from F level to S level. If you can reach B level or above, it is a relatively powerful talent skill. For example, the S level talent, the Inheritor Tornado, the little Lolita with green light all over her body and no underwear. Her awakener, Ms. Yu, has been awakened for 10 years, has 8 levels of actual combat power, unlimited growth potential, innate skills, telekinesis control, S level, and meteorites falling from the sky, S level. Several scores are very explosive. Therefore, her talent ranks first in the S class. Talent level is never determined by evaluation, but by actual combat. Zhang Lan understood that if he was rated like this, he only needed to show the level of a third-level awakener to upgrade teacher Saitama's talent to a level. As an awakener of the strengthening system, the test is still the same as the third one: attack power, speed, and defense. Zhang Lan silently calculated the strength of the third-level awakened people and controlled himself with all his strength, so as not to dismantle the spiritual realm management of Sanjiang City. Thanks to his excellent acting skills, he was able to pass the test. After the test, Zhang Lan was sweating profusely. Take the attack power test for example. The tester of the Spiritual Realm Administration is mainly for students and has only an upper limit of 4,000 kilograms. Zhang Lan had to control his strength with all his strength, no more, no less, and hit exactly 3,999 kilograms of force. This is like a person who has to control his running speed to be like a snail, and also has to pretend to be very strenuous so that he almost suffers internal injuries. After the test was completed, the staff announced Zhang Lan's current level. Third level, Strengthened Awakener. Suddenly everyone present looked at him with envy and hatred. Zhang Lan is really lucky. He was led to pass 3 spiritual realms in a row. With the potential points rewarded by the spiritual realms, he piled himself up to the third level. Then there is the assessment of growth potential. This level makes the old experts very embarrassed. It can be said that Zhang Lan has reached the level of a third-level awakener 6 months after awakening, and the speed of improvement can be said to be very rapid. If you don't look at objective factors, you have firmly reached the S-level standard. After all, among the freshmen in the National University of China, there are only a few S-level talent awakeners who have reached the third level. But, everyone in China knows it, now almost everyone in the world should know it. Zhang Lan's rapid improvement was entirely due to holding Ning Tong's thigh in the spiritual realm, lying down and rubbing his potential points to reach the third level. This situation has never happened before. After all, even if others can take care of him, they are still willing to take care of an awakened person with potential. No one has ever considered taking a D-level awakened person to the spiritual realm and training him to the third level. The old experts pinched their dentures one after another, sucked in the cold air, shook their heads, and looked embarrassed. In the end, it was the old man with a goatee and a cane who made the final decision. Why don't you write it this way? This talent is suspected to have a luck bonus, but it must be combined with the beauty of the prosperous age to be effective. The growth potential is intermediate. After all, luck is also a kind of strength. Everyone recalled that Zhang Lan had bad luck in the 3 spiritual realms and obtained a large number of points and potential point rewards. In spiritual realm number 1, many students had beaten Haixing to a dying state. He was lucky enough to kill Haixing with a single blow. In spirit realm number 2, he and Ning Tong were lucky enough to find the experimental facility, kill all the monsters inside, and gain a large amount of points. In the 3rd spiritual realm, it was even more extreme. Niu Gui couldn't bear the humiliation and angrily committed suicide in front of him. The latest news I just got is that in the 5th battle with the big boss in spiritual realm number 3, he actually got through with a bug. This kind of luck can only be described as heaven-defying. Why did those who awakened the talent, I became bald and became stronger, not have such good luck before? Experts finally determined that this talent must be combined with the beauty of the prosperous age to have the effect of increasing luck. In fact, Zhong Lan's luckiest thing is far more than that. Ever since he awakened his D-level talent, he had been recruited by the university and even fell in love with Ning Tong. What's even more outrageous is that Ning Tong is the principal's only eldest daughter. The most outrageous thing is that according to rumors, Zhong Lan is already in love with her to death. Principal Ning tried to separate the two several times, but Ning Tong sternly rejected her every time. She even said harshly, "I won't marry anyone except Zhong Lan." This is tantamount to announcing to everyone that I will follow Zhong Lan for the rest of my life. If this trend continues, Zhong Lan will be able to inherit a university immediately after graduation. Although it is a private university, after several capital injections from the Lingjing Administration Bureau, it has become one of the best universities in the Jiangnan region with good hardware conditions. Assets are at least over 100 million. Recently, many foreign students have applied to transfer to China, and they have to transfer to Sanjiang University. What kind of unfavorable start is this? A D-level talent awakener can get to this point with his shitty luck. Many experts became more and more angry as they thought about it. Some of them almost lost their breath and took a few Suxiaojuxin pills before they recovered. Looking back carefully, Zhong Lan's luck can only be said to be extremely good. They said that this talent has the effect of increasing luck, and they agree. Many experts and scholars gave thumbs up to the veteran expert. Ginger is still old and spicy, and she has a unique vision, so she can't accept it. Finally, there is the rating of talent skills. In front of many experts, Zhong Lan demonstrated teacher Saitama's 4 talent skills: normal attack, continuous normal attack with both hands, and a serious punch. Because he had to control his strength at the 3rd level, his demonstration looked average in power and only produced a little punching style. The eyes of many experts were dull at that time. They came with high hopes and thought they could witness the rise of a powerful talent, but they didn't expect it. This talent is really as useless as its name. Can these few demonstrations by Zhong Lan be called talent skills? They couldn't help but whisper to each other. Is this kid stupid? Isn't this just punching? Changing the posture, changing the strength, changing the speed, is it a natural skill? If you put it this way, getting up, brushing your teeth, washing your face, eating, and pooping can all be considered talents. Yes, I also have many talents such as old man pushing cart, Guanyin sitting on lotus, watching fire from the bank, flowers blooming in the back garden, etc. Lao Lu, you have so many tricks up your sleeve. Did your wife suffer? Who said you have to be with my wife? There is a new bathing center downstairs in my house. Awesome, come back to the imperial capital and take me to see you. After the expert group unanimously determined that Zhong Lan's so-called talent skills were not approved. Finally, seeing Zhong Lan's unkind expression, they reluctantly added one. You can eat grilled ghost meat. The talent skill is named Roasted Ghost Meat Devourer. After the final comprehensive evaluation results came out, Zhong Lan couldn't help but laugh when he looked at the outrageous talents and skills evaluated by the experts. The awakened Zhong Lan has been awakened for half a year. His actual combat power is level 3, his growth potential is intermediate, and his talent level is F level. The talent, I became bald and became stronger, was upgraded from AD level unsequential talent to AB2 talent, and has been serialized since then. An hour later, the China Awakening Bureau updated the new talent level of I became bald and became stronger online. The specific description is as follows. B2 talent. Talent name. I became bald and became stronger. Heritage hero. Bald man in yellow uniform. Awakening probability. Unknown. Talent skill 1. Roasted ghost meat devourer. Talent skill 2. If you have a beautiful face, you will get incredible luck. Increase difficulty. No difficulty. Run 10 kilometers every day, do 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, and 100 squats. Closing square bracket. Comprehensive evaluation. This talent needs to be used in conjunction with the beauty of the prosperous age. It is suspected to have the effect of increasing luck. Currently, the strongest awakener of this talent is Zhong Lan, a 3rd level awakener. Closing square bracket. The talent points required for awakening have also been directly upgraded from 10 points to 100 points. Zhang Lan immediately realized something was wrong. Was the talent point consumed during awakening determined by the Awakening Bureau? If this is really the case, the talents that should belong to all mankind for free should be converted into talent points at a high price. Awakening Bureau, you deserve to die. A dangerous light flashed in Zhang Lan's eyes. At this moment, he was not able to change everything. It didn't matter. The accounts could be settled slowly. The talent is rated as B2 level. Zhang Lan immediately protested. My strength reached the 3rd level within half a year. Logically speaking, and my minimum talent should be rated as a level. The old experts explained to Zhang Lan in a serious and attentive manner. The talent level should be comprehensively considered from 3 aspects: combat power, talent skill level and growth potential. Your personal combat power is reached, but the growth potential and talent skill level are too low, so based on the comprehensive judgment, I will give you a B2. It's pretty good. Zhang Lan thought of teacher Saitama. The first time the hero level was upgraded, it seemed that he was promoted to B2. Is this God's will? He could only struggle and try harder. Then help me change the names of my talents and inherited heroes. The staff of the Awakening Bureau sneered. You still want to change your talent name and hero name? That is a privilege only for 7th level experts. Zhang Lan's eyes suddenly widened, a light flashed in his mind, and he hesitated. So the name of the S1 talent? The staff nodded. The S1 talent was originally named Remote Control Ability, and the legacy hero was named Green-Haired Little Girl Without Underwear. After Ms. Yu became famous, she insisted on it, so we changed the talent name to what it is now. Zhang Lan suddenly realized that this was the case. He had been wondering before why the names of the S1 talents were passable, but Mr. Saitama and Mr. Dakao were given such ridiculous names. From this point of view, it is not easy to inherit a hero. You have to wait for the inheritor to become stronger before you can earn your name. Who compiled the talent manual in the first place? What kind of little girl doesn't wear underwear? What kind of man? How many people have been misled? After hearing the news, Zhang Lan was not in a hurry. If he followed this rule, it would not be far from the time when he would rectify the talent of Teacher Saitama and Teacher Superman. His true attributes are now close to 4,000 points, and it will not be difficult to break through the 5,000 mark in a few months. If he used it with all his strength, he should be infinitely close to the 7th level by now. The reason why he is still unable to show his full strength is because the enemy is hiding and he is hiding. There is the Divine Punishment Organization, a huge evil organization lurking in the dark, eyeing Ning Tong's talent. If he is not careful, not only may Ning Tong lose his life, but his family may also suffer misfortune. Teacher Saitama's talent cannot be justified, but it does not mean that Teacher Superman is not good enough. Zhang Lan made up his mind to top up his points after returning from here, transform into Superman form, and go to the 5 Elements Alliance. A fat old man with a smile saw Zhang Lan's reluctance and comforted Zhang Lan. If you feel unconvinced, then work hard to become stronger. When you reach level 7, your talent will be directly upgraded to S level, and you will also have the right to change your name once. By then, you can call it whatever you like. What is your name? The old man walked out of the testing hall without looking back, and even left a sentence that echoed to the ground. A strong person is never bound by rules, a strong person only creates rules. Zhang Lan clenched his fists, and a light seemed to flash in his eyes. Asshole, if I hadn't just heard you crying and begging Lao Lu to take you to the bathing center to awaken your natural skills, I would have almost been fooled by you. Finally finishing his work with reporters and the Spirit Realm Management Bureau, Zhang Lan said goodbye to Ning Tong and Lao Ning, and walked into an alley, looking around to make sure there was no one there. The clothes on his body slowly changed color and shape. The high-tech armor that kills the city is a magical weapon for Zhang Lan. He has been able to perfectly customize his Superman suit. As the color of the clothes changed, a huge red S appeared on the chest. Superman. Superman is online. In this costume, he simulated the form of Man of Steel, Heng Chao, with gray-blue tights and a long red cloak. The waist is tightened with a red belt, and matching his explosive figure, he perfectly replicates Heng Chao 1-to-1. Zhong Lan was full of confidence and was about to step out of the alley when he suddenly felt something was wrong. He touched his bald head and said, that's it. He started exercising when he went out this morning and forgot to bring his wig. But it doesn't matter, now that he has become Superman, he has no intention of walking home, now it's time to fly home to get the wig. Zhong Lan's heart moved, and he began to add the potential points obtained from the number 3 spiritual realm to his spirit. After a while, his attributes became Physique, 593. Spirit, 1000. Strength, 593. Agility, 593. Potential points, 1099. Talent 1. Saitama's talent. Talent 2. Superhuman talent. Talent skill 1. Clairvoyance. Talent skill 2. Thermal vision. After adding points, Zhong Lan closed his eyes and slowly experienced the mysterious feeling. Well, in the room on the left, people are doing things in broad daylight. Hiss, the building on the right is even more powerful, it turns out to be a multiplayer sport. In China, two-person sports are reasonable and legal, but multi-person sports are serious violations. Zhong Lan was immediately filled with indignation. No, I have to report them. The world is not yet at peace, the world is not yet liberated, countless hungry children have no food to eat, and countless women who have fallen off their feet have no one to save them. Why are you 5 so arrogant and licentious? Are there still laws of heaven, and are there still laws of kings? You are having so much fun, have you ever considered my feelings? Zhong Lan calmly took out his phone. Hey, police station, I'm near number 23, Changjiang West Road. Yes, I found a lot of people exercising in room 401 on the 4th floor of building 15 next to me. Aha. No need to thank me, this is what a good citizen should do. Do good deeds without leaving a name. Goodbye. After waiting for a moment, Zhong Lan nodded with satisfaction as he watched the police car roaring towards him. The uncles rushed into the small building and took away the disheveled 4 men and 1 woman. After reporting, these bad men and women began to exercise in large groups in broad daylight. Zhong Lan felt refreshed. He raised one arm and made a flying posture like Superman. The result. Dot was motionless. Originally, the biological force field that would inevitably appear in an awakened person when a single attribute exceeds 1,000 did not appear on him. Something seems to be wrong. Zhong Lan thought about it carefully. Every time he awakened his superhuman talent, all 4 attributes went hand in hand. Only when he broke through a major level would he gain a new talent. It seems that adding one item alone is of no use. Zhong Lan could only obediently start to complete the other items. After a while, his attributes changed. Physique, 959. Spirit, 1000. Strength, 959. Agility, 959. Potential points, 1. Talent 1. Saitama's talent. Talent 2. Superhuman talent. Talent skill 1. Clairvoyance. Talent skill 2. Thermal vision. As all 4 attributes exceeded 900, Zhong Lan felt his face swell, and then his scalp began to itch. He found the window of a house on the roadside and looked in the mirror. I wiped it, and Zhong Lan couldn't help but exclaimed. I saw another face appearing in front of me. Although the eyebrows and eyes were still the same as Zhong Lan's, the facial expression and aura were completely different. He looks more mature, and his whole body exudes a steady aura. What's even more outrageous is that his hair grew out instantly. It wasn't over yet, Zhong Lan's muscles began to swell. After a few minutes, his body shape changed significantly, and his muscles became larger than his usual state, completely stretching the entire Superman suit. Finally, the talent skill slowly appeared in the attribute panel. Superman's gifted skill, Man of Steel. Zhong Lan was immediately pleasantly surprised. This transformation skill was so awesome. Even if he stood in front of Ning Tong after the transformation, Ning Tong might not recognize him as Zhong Lan. Zhong Lan remembered that Dakao seemed to be able to prevent others from recognizing him by wearing glasses. Those glasses should be Kryptonian high-tech, helping Dakao have the ability to transform. But in his case, it turned into an innate skill. That's fine. If he transforms into Superman in the future, he no longer has to worry about the risk of being discovered. The only regret is that he can't fly yet. The biological force field that should have appeared when the attributes exceeded 1000 was nowhere to be seen in his case. Zhang Lan estimated that Superman's talent and Saitama's talent were too strong, and the rules for ordinary awakened people did not apply to these two teachers. That's right, such powerful talents as Teacher Saitama and Dakao should not be lost to all living beings. He should be so independent. And Zhang Lan had a hunch that the day when he could fly was not far away. It is very likely that when his 4 attributes exceed 1000, it will be time to soar into the sky. Of course it couldn't fly, so it wasn't too confusing for him. After there is no risk of being discovered, he can choose to take a bus to the Five Elements Alliance. But today is the day when he appears for the first time in the form of Superman's Man of Steel, and he doesn't want to keep a low profile anymore. With his added attributes, as long as they are not at the level of the 3 emperors of China, the others are no threat to him. So Zhang Lan chose to jump to the Five Elements Alliance. Before Superman could fly, he also used large jumps instead of flying. He squatted on the ground with one leg, his thigh muscles showing perfect lines, showing his invincible strength, and his red cloak fluttered in the wind. As he exerted force with one leg, a huge hole opened in the ground instantly, and the hard cement pavement collapsed into tiny particles like plastic foam. Zhang Lan flew directly into the air like a red rocket. The huge improvement in the 4 attributes gave Zhang Lan a qualitative leap in physical fitness. He jumped several hundred meters high with a single jump. He felt the turbulence of the air. Gradually, the turbulent air flow became his help instead of his hindrance. After several jumps, Zhang Lan gradually figured out the trick. Speed and power were perfectly integrated. Every time he jumped, he could trigger a huge sonic boom wave. The sky above Sanjiang City kept ringing with huge bang 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 sounds. A man wearing a gray-blue battle coat, half flying and half jumping in the air, approached the Sanjiang City Five Elements Alliance at an extremely fast speed. Sanjiang City is not big. Zhang Lan only used a dozen jumps to reach the sky above the Five Elements Alliance. The girl at the front desk last time has been assigned to look at the gate. On a sunny afternoon, the girl at the front desk yawned and stretched, revealing her seductive lines. Suddenly, she saw a muscular man wearing a gray-blue battle suit flying down from midair. His powerful body, like a meteorite, hit the square outside the Five Elements Alliance with a thud, making a huge hole in the hard marble square. Then the man slowly stood up from the pothole. The red cloak and the raised S letter on his chest showed his invincible momentum. The girl at the front desk suddenly recalled the day 2 months ago when she was dominated by a person who wore her underwear outside. Her eyes turned white and she couldn't help but scream again. Ah, Zhang Lan's face stiffened. I don't even have any underwear on, and my image has changed. Why can I still be considered a human by you? Yi Cheng, who heard the call from the girl at the front desk, limped out of the Five Elements Alliance hall with a group of strong men. When he saw the familiar gray-blue shirt and the fluttering red cloak, his pupils suddenly contracted violently. His leg injury has just healed a little bit, but he is still having trouble walking now. Yi Cheng quickly opened his hands, stopped the people behind him, and roared loudly. Don't do anything. Anyone who touches me will be killed. In fact, he didn't need to shout, and the others were not stupid, and they all reacted instantly. The man in front of me must be the strong man who wore underwear outside last time. Yi Cheng checked carefully. Although the man in front of him looked slightly different from the man who claimed to be Superman last time, this aura, this costume. The corners of his eyes were beating. Yes, it was him, the man who destroyed more than 10 million of his testers, called himself Superman, and was a 4th-level reinforced man wearing underwear. But, even if he recognized him, so what? The entire Sanjiang City Five Elements Alliance, everyone combined, couldn't beat him alone. This guy was a level 4 powerhouse last time, but this time he seems to have bigger muscles and stronger momentum. Although he no longer wears underwear, everyone feels inexplicably that he has become even more. Look at him, he actually has the S logo embroidered on his chest. Is he telling everyone that he is the S in SM? A sadist, the kind of person who likes to inflict pain and despair on others. Although the sun was shining brightly at this moment, everyone felt a chill in their bodies. As the same saying goes, we are not afraid of the strong, we are just afraid of the strong. Yi Cheng hurriedly stepped forward to greet him with a smile on his face. Long time no see, brother Superman, what's the purpose of your visit to Xiaomeng this time? Yi Cheng felt terrified in his heart. He wouldn't have taken it seriously last time when I casually said that I wanted to adjust another 20,000 attack dynamometer. He was welcome to test it again next time. Yi Cheng had already made up his mind. If this man who claimed to be Superman wanted to conduct some kind of strength test, he would lie down on the ground and pretend to have a broken leg. If that doesn't work, foaming at the mouth and fainting are also a good idea. No matter what I say, I can't let this person blow up a dynamometer again. Zhang Lan was too lazy to talk nonsense with him and went straight to the point. I want to recertify my talent level, can you do it here? Yi Cheng was stunned. Talent level determination. As the head of the Sanjiang City branch of the Five Elements Alliance, he had heard that the Civilian Awakened Alliance could conduct relevant testing. But after taking office for more than 3 years, he has never encountered anyone coming to the Five Elements Alliance to determine talent levels. After all, the Five Elements Alliance has recognized it and will eventually submit it to the Awakening Bureau for review. Only after passing the review will they face society and schools and re-release the latest talent rankings. They can only do testing and have no decision-making power. Yi Cheng told Zhang Lan about these situations. Zhang Lan had expected it, he said calmly. It doesn't matter, just report it, I will figure out the rest. How dare Yi Cheng say no, he nodded. That's okay, Superman, please come here and I'll arrange for the staff to prepare the relevant equipment. But then his face stiffened again, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. It's over. 2 days ago, I did just deploy a 20,000 kilogram dynamometer from the headquarters. Is it going to be blown up again today? A dynamometer weighing 20,000 kilograms is 3 times more expensive than a dynamometer weighing 10,000 kilograms. If he was beaten up again by the man in front of him who claimed to be Superman, he really didn't know how to explain it to the general administration. No one was recruited, and 2 expensive dynamometers were damaged in succession. It is estimated that he, the person in charge of the Five Elements Alliance in Sanjiang City, has finally finished his work. Zhang Lan also saw his difficulty and smiled lightly. No need, let's use another method to measure strength today. After all, with his attributes after adding points, there are not many instruments in this world that can withstand his full blow. Zhang Lan stood there and looked up at the sky. It's a bit cloudy today, it's the afternoon, there are large white clouds floating in the sky, and the sunlight is dappled on the ground, showing the tranquility of late autumn. Zhang Lan slowly accumulated strength. Through the tight-fitting Superman suit, you could see the muscles on his arms bulged. Then, Zhang Lan punched the sky with all his strength. Bang! With a loud bang, a huge sonic boom erupted in the square of the Five Elements Alliance, as if an 8-level wind was blowing. The short skirt of the girl at the front desk was turned up, revealing the black thong underneath. The girl at the front desk quickly covered her short skirt and screamed loudly. Help, there is a pervert. The other awakened people were also blown around by this sudden airflow. After a while, the strong wind dissipated, but Zhang Lan still maintained his punching posture. A large area of golden sunlight in the sky shines directly through without any obstruction. Zhang Lan closed her eyes and bathed in the sunshine, as if she was receiving the blessings of the sun. A huge hole appeared in the white clouds, with a diameter of several kilometers. If you look closely, you can see that it is shaped like a fist. Everyone opened their mouths. Holy shit, what happened? Is the man in gray and blue shirt in front of me really a human? Why, he can punch a hole in the clouds and the sky with one punch. You know, the lowest cloud layer is several thousand meters above the ground. How strong an attack power is required to do this? Zhang Lan said lightly. What, do you still need to test the attack power? Yi Cheng's eyes were full of shock. What did I see? Could it be the coming of gods? Although it is unknown what method he used to change his appearance, Yi Cheng confirmed last time that he would not be older than 22. But such a young 6th-level powerhouse has already broken the world record. The last time he was tested, he was still at the advanced level of the 4th level. In just a few months, he had reached the 6th level. It's impossible for someone to be promoted at such a fast speed. He must have been clumsy in the last test. It took Yi Cheng a while to react, shaking his head and smiling bitterly. There is no need to measure it. Just by visual inspection, your attack power has exceeded the 50,000 mark, at least reaching the 6th level. Only the 2 super cities of Imperial City and Demon City have power measuring machines of this level. Our kind, it's a small place and there are no conditions for testing. He frowned and asked Zhang Lan. Based on this test result alone, you have already ranked among the 6th level experts. I think you are no more than 22 years old, and you have full marks for your growth potential. Sanjiang City 5 Elements Alliance is willing to serve as your guarantor and apply to rewrite your talent level. Lord Superman, what is your talent? Zhang Lan said calmly. Don't worry, I still have an innate skill. Please help me write in the test results and submit them to the Awakening Bureau. Zhang Lan inspected for a week and selected a metal nameplate in the 5 Elements League Square as the demonstration object. His eyes instantly turned red, and 2 rays of light shot out from his eyes. Superman's innate skill, heat vision. The red light instantly heats the air, causing it to become severely distorted. It appears that the heat line of sight is shaking in an S shape as it travels. The heat rays hit the metal nameplate and melted it instantly. As the heat vision swept across, the nameplate completely melted into liquid and dripped onto the ground, forming irregular metal balls. Zhang Lan put away his heat vision ability and looked back. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock and fear. This metal nameplate is made of tungsten molybdenum alloy and can withstand temperatures of at least 3,000 degrees. It was actually completely melted by this man with just the red light emitted from his eyes. If your body is hit by this kind of ray, won't it turn into ashes instantly? Recalling the last time Zhang Lan visited the 5 Elements Alliance, they fought hard against Zhang Lan. The awakened ones of the 5 Elements Alliance suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. We can live to this day, we should really burn incense and thank Buddha for blessing us. Too powerful. What is the origin of this man in gray and blue shirt? Why is he so powerful? While he has super high strength attributes, he also has spiritual talents. What are his true attributes? As awakeners, they can recite S-level talents by heart. However, none of the talents matched the performance of the man in front of him. Yi Cheng swallowed his saliva and said uneasily, Mr. Superman, what exactly is your talent? It's funny to talk about it. I don't even have the slightest impression of this powerful talent. Is it a talent that has never appeared on the Awakening Stone? Zhang Lan said lightly, my talent is very ordinary. It's a D-level talent. As soon as this was said, everyone's eyes widened with incredulous expressions. Are you kidding me? What you awakened is, I can become stronger if I sit in the sun. That trash talent that is the same D-level famous loser talent as, I became bald and became stronger. Hiss, am I hallucinating? Yi Cheng looked at the others with a puzzled look. When he found that the others also looked incredulous, he confirmed that he had not heard anything. The 6th level strong man in front of him, a person with both enhanced and spiritual awakenings, indeed said it himself that his talent is, I can become stronger by basking in the sun. Yi Cheng hesitated. Sir Superman, I can report this matter truthfully, but I can't guarantee whether the Awakening Bureau will admit it or not. Zhang Lan laughed. It doesn't matter, you can just report it directly. It's best to publicize this matter through some news media. After Zhang Lan finished all this, he turned around and walked towards the door, and his voice came from far away. You help me accomplish this. In the future, I can help you take action once in the future without violating the law or morality. Yi Cheng's frowning eyebrows relaxed instantly. It's worth spending so much money to get a 6th level strongman's promise to take action once. Zhang Lan never thought that Superman's talent could be upgraded to S level with just one test. After all, his identity cannot be disclosed, and regrading Superman's talent should be more difficult than Saitama's talent. The Awakening Bureau doesn't recognize the 5 Elements Alliance's test results. It doesn't matter, because of his Superman identity, he is destined to become a superhero admired by thousands of people in the future. When the time comes, how will the Awakening Bureau deal with itself if it refuses to recognize his talent? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.